Hey, hello, and good evening, good morning, good afternoon, whenever you're watching this. Thank you for joining us and welcome to Feezy's Media, my channel. I'm Jay Feezy, and today is the premiere of Film Grain. This is episode 1, a new show I got going on. For those of you who are new to the channel, this channel is meant to be covering more content media based on entertainment, movies, TV shows, video games. I'm into all of that. But stuff I love, right? The part of my life, as I'm sure it is with all of you fellow cinephiles, my film family, basically, if you will. Um, but yeah, it's just stuff that we all love to talk about. Most of us, anyways, right? I think we can all agree that movies reach all of us. But there's some couple of things here that I feel like we need to discuss. Something that came in the news race recently that I'll bring up, that I want to do a deep dive on. But Film Grain is the show that I created to basically talk about things related to movies and TV and do deeper dives on topics related to those two media forms. So, with that, usually I'll have some guests. Sometimes I will, sometimes I don't. But with that, I have guests joining me on this episode. So, without further ado, let me go and bring them in here. We got Michael, Elliott, and Alex Montano. Yeah. Good evening, gentlemen. Welcome.
What up? What up?
Thank you for inviting us to your show.
Yeah. You got me doing double duty tonight.
Yeah. No, thanks for joining. Yeah, and again, for those of you who are new to my content and just to my channel in general, as you can see, we have figures in our background. We are also collectors, right? Collectors of action figures, other pop culture collectibles. So if you haven't already, I have another channel, Feezy's Figures, obviously, where I talk about these related things. But these all stem from somewhere, right? For most of us collectors, they stem from either nostalgia or our love of film, movies, TVs, or games, right? Other things of pop culture, music. Michael Elliott here is one of his passions is music, as well as mine. So, Alex, I'm sure yours is as well. I don't know to what degree, but yeah, we just have multiple hobbies, right?
Yeah.
What's that?
Pretty big fan of music.
Yeah. See, like it's one of those things that I'm sure we all love music in some form or another. So,
Although in my case, it's more than a hobby. I actually make money. It's a career.
It's a career for this guy right here. Yeah. So
I make money.
A thing or two about it. But yeah, in this chat, so we may in future episodes, I may come up with another stream to discuss music. I don't know. But for right now, we're gonna do film and TV. So this first episode, we're gonna discuss something that has come up in more recent years, right? Digital media has been gaining popularity, and it has for a while now, ever since streaming came on board and increasing internet usage. But in this episode, I wanted to take a deeper dive on physical media versus digital media. So in the blue corner, we have, of course, representing Blu-rays, 4Ks, and all the like. We have physical media, and in the red corner, we have all the other streaming platforms and digital copies of said movies, TV shows, and games. Like I mentioned, I'm a gamer as well. I'm into video games, and so I'll bring up some of those points as well, like how that relate to all this stuff on either aspect, right, in physical or digital. So with that, I have some links in the description. The gentlemen here, these fine gentlemen who have joined me this evening, or whenever you're watching this, I'll have their links in the description after the stream, as well as some timestamps. There's some other links that I have in there that I'll bring up later on during this stream for you all to reference when you catch the replay. So with that, let's go ahead and get into it. This one is, I think we'll just get this out of the way. It's pretty straightforward, right? We'll start with the digital pros. I think the biggest one that we're all aware of is space, right? So the biggest convenience for digital media, going digital over physical, is conserving space. They obviously take a lot of space, and I don't think that needs any more explanation, but I just want to give an opportunity to our guests here to provide any input on their experience and what their take is on either or. I know we all have a preference, and we'll go through these, but Mike, I know you had mentioned backstage, you had some, but what is your take on just the
Digital?
physical media aspect and and digital, and then saving space? Yep. Right. Look at that. That's all it is. How much content do you have on that thumb drive?
Believe this is a small one. It's just 2 gigs, but
Mhm.
I've got like,
Beam,
hey, what's up, Bean? I've got
see you,
like
I miss you.
5 gig, 20 gigs. Get a ton of movies on just a little stick here. So as far as digital, I mean, I've got
Yeah.
them. I've got film movies on CD or DVD
Mhm.
that I burn myself. I don't have them directly in front of me. I didn't know it's just film and TV. I got some other mediums with me, but
Yeah.
I I have to have physical media, but I don't have a problem with digital because once again, I like things in almost all mediums, but
Mhm.
space is very important.
Right. Yep.
Space
Yeah,
is
and it's
very
something. Yeah, and it's something we as collectors already have an issue with, right? It's just that's the number one thing that limits us is the space aspect. I think that's like one of the top priorities, if not the top. Alex, do you agree on that, or what is your experience on just on the space that physical media takes up?
Like the best part of digital is the space. Like you save a ton of
Yeah,
space,
yeah,
but you're
the
missing so
convenience, right?
many cool things like
Mhm.
quality.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
that's a good point. That's something, yeah, I'll also bring up later on. But yeah, so again, space, I'm sure we all can agree that that's the main
yeah,
convenience, the pro with having digital. The second one, I think a little more, it's almost straightforward, but there's a little more I want to get into. And that's the other digital pro would be convenience, right? I know we all talk
yeah,
about just the convenience of having it readily available, if it's available, right? That's the
yeah.
key thing right there. And that's something we'll go on also later on. But
Affordability.
yeah, so
oh
affordability,
yeah.
Yeah,
convenience, just having it there, just popping open the app on whatever streaming
yeah.
service, um, and that you purchased your movie or you rented it from or your show or whatever. But lately, I've actually been finding myself kind of drawn away from that because for me personally, there are times, when I want to go to a specific scene of a movie or a show, and I have to basically fast forward and get to that point, and sometimes it's not always seamless, and it could be maybe it's just my internet, I don't know, but there's some buffering that catches up, and then sometimes it'll freeze. There's a lot of factors that could be attributed to. That could be the app, right? It could be my TV, but still, there's those factors that are involved that kind of don't make it as seamless, right? Whereas with physical, you have bookmarks, they have chapters that you can skip to, and sometimes, yeah, those apps freeze, or if I want to rewind, I feel like I have more issues rewinding than fast forwarding to a scene. And yeah, have you guys experienced that at all, Alex?
Yeah, but I stopped experiencing that after I started using an Apple TV.
Hmm.
Like the apps in the Apple TV for some reason, like they don't work perfectly well,
Hmm.
but for that, like skipping forward and going backwards, it's pretty good. It's pretty decent.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's why I use it the most. Because I
Okay.
can't stand using the smart TV like the Samsung TV from Disney Plus and all that stuff. Like it's so
Mhm.
annoying to skip forward. The buffering is constant. Sometimes it doesn't even load in 4K. It takes a lifetime
Yeah.
to start loading like in the best quality. So that's
Mm.
kind of annoying in
Yeah.
digital way. And also one thing that I don't like is that if you lose your internet connection, there's no way to download those movies to your
Hmm.
TV or your Apple TV. Like you can't have a small backup library for you there. And that's
Right. Right.
pretty crappy. Like you can do it
Yeah.
on your phone, but if you want to stream it to your TV, you need Wi-Fi.
Hmm.
And if there's no internet, you're screwed.
Right. Yeah. If you're
Yeah.
using wireless versus wired connections, yeah, for sure.
And
Um,
it's I don't know, man.
yeah. No, there's definitely a lot. I'll touch on that.
Yeah.
I'll piggyback on that. But Mike, what are your thoughts? Do you have troubles or issues whenever you're streaming something, movies or TV shows? Do you have any issues with connectivity or the buffering at all? Like I was
Not
mentioning.
anymore. I was,
No,
but it was simply because I just gone too long without upgrading the computer.
I gotcha.
But even so, even when it's running well, yeah, we're coming to learn now that it doesn't matter how great your bandwidth is. Anybody could freeze up at any given point in time. We're finding now even weather can affect, you
Yeah.
know, it transmits your internet. So certain things you're just not going to avoid.
Mhm.
But what I do is I have a series of software programs that I use, and sometimes, let's say I have a digital movie and I'm watching it in QuickTime for
Mm.
whatever reason because of the resolution, it's not coming through well, or this or that, or maybe the audio is too low. So that's when I go into my different software programs, and one of them that I go to that I've been using religiously for years is VLC. The
Yeah.
program called VLC.
Mhm.
You can play just about anything in it, anything from a Windows movie to a Mac. I mean, all different variations, MP3s. You can play just about anything in it. So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll use that as my go-to if I'm having issues with fast forwarding or any of those other things. I'll just load it into my different various programs, see which ones works best.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. That I was going to mention here also that when we get to availability, for the most part, I'll be referring to ways that the masses, like people in general, can access this content, this media. Um,
Oh, by the way,
yeah,
if I can interject, VLC is free,
yeah, it is free software.
and then and every time it updates, it's still free. It's free forever.
Yeah,
Free forever.
something to look into. Um, yeah, availability for the masses. I'll touch on that, but we all there's ways that we can access this content. Like I'll say other uses right through torrents, simulators, ROMs, things like that. But I kind of won't touch on that too much, just because
No.
that's just something you can research on your own. But I'm just
Yeah.
referring to like content that's available for the masses, right?
Yeah.
So I may bring that up a little bit because it's like it may be a necessary.
Sometimes it's the only way to find.
Yeah, it's the only way. Yeah, now we'll bring that up later, but I just wanted to get that out, put that out there that this is just content we're talking about that's available for everybody, and or not, right? Or not.
Yeah.
But, so going back to the convenience and to kind of sum that up, basically what Alex was saying and a little bit what Mike was implying. There's a lot that. There are a lot of factors, right, that rely on how well a service works, obviously. So there's your internet connection, your internet equipment, right? There's your modem or your router if you have one, your cabling. If you're going wirelessly, how good is your signal strength? So and for a lot of people, they don't want to mess with all that, right? It's just a lot to deal with, and so sometimes they may get frustrated, and they just want it to work, right? And then sometimes that's not always the case, and they get frustrated. So that's tying it back to convenience. It's only convenient if everything works, right? If you're having issues and you can't get to whatever movie or TV show that you want to watch, then that's definitely a big factor, a big deciding point for people and their decision to go physical versus digital. Because the digital aspect does require some troubleshooting at some point, right? If it doesn't work, then you're just SOL. It's just I'm sure you're gonna get frustrated. Oh, like when Mike's showing there, enhance. Yeah, already found something. Yeah,
Widescreen
we're gonna go over.
edition.
We're gonna go over show and tell here at the end, but there's a little teaser there.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's all right. It's all right. Yeah, but that's a teaser, folks. Yeah, so we knocked out a couple of the pros. I think the only pros, if I'm not mistaken, I think we can all think. If you guys can think of more, I'll give you an opportunity here. But we did physical space. You save. There's no almost non-existent except for flash drives or external hard drives, your computer. For going digital, and the convenience to some degree, right? Again, depending on your equipment and everything else. Those were the main two that I see. So throughout the rest of this stream, I'll be going over availability. I mentioned availability. I'll be going over ownership, preservation. We'll talk about preservation because that is important. And at the end, as Mike gave a tease, we'll do show and tell. So there's some show and tell that I asked these gentlemen. I think Alex wasn't able to grab something, but it's okay. He can just tell us maybe something he has in mind. You got time to think, Alex. But some of our treasured or our favorite physical editions of the media that we have, and I have a few. So we'll share that. We'll share that at the end. But with that, were you guys able to come up with any other pros for digital? Because we're going to go over cons here.
The other thing is that if you do have some killer movies that you've loved on other physical media, let's say particularly out of the '90s, where
Mm.
it wasn't a whole lot of high def going on, or '80s or '70s if you want to go that far back, and even '60s now. A lot of these films now are being brought back out at least in HD, if not in 4K.
Yeah.
So another
Yeah.
reason why digital media, hey, you still got your physical copy, but wow, I can see it much clearer because the digital is HD.
Mm-hmm.
So you might want to upgrade your own library by okay, well, here's all my favorite stuff on VHS, but hey, I got the same library right here on digital that you can't find on VHS or find out anymore.
Yeah, and then we'll touch on that later too, the availability of physical media. But yeah, that's kind of a good point too, right? Going back to saving space. So say if you already have some content on some older media like VHS or DVD, but now you want to upgrade it and you don't want to have to buy another disc, yeah, you can just buy the HD version. So that's a good one. I know a lot of times the nowadays the Blu-rays or the 4Ks, they come with the previous version, another copy, either digital or if you get the 4K disc, it'll usually come with the Blu-ray, or if you buy the Blu-ray, it was coming with the DVD. So that's always, I like that option that they do that, right? They provide both if you want to have that option for both. But before we go on, let me address the chat real quick. I brought up S Beam earlier. S Beam in that house. Thank you for joining us, good sir. Superior Beam. Appreciate it. He says, hello, amigos. Thanks for joining us. Blue Tattoo. Hey, everyone. Thank you for joining. Blue. Appreciate that. Yeah, thanks for coming. Thanks for joining. Let's see. It's been showing off some emojis here. You got the skull. I think I might be referring to my shirt. That's a teaser, but I'll bring that up later along with my show and tell.
I think he's referring to Pirate.
Pirate. Oh yeah, that's
true.
We
were talking about earlier.
Piracy.
Yeah,
I saw him put the skull and crossbones. Oh yeah, I know what he's talking about.
Okay, I thought he was onto my shirt there. So I can't tell what that is. Looks like a cup of coffee, maybe. I don't know.
No, it's the VHS tape.
Oh, it is. That's right. That's what he put here. I was like, what is that? It's like tiny on my end. VHS, probably one of the worst space takers. I know, right?
Dude, the worst was laser discs. Those things.
I never had any.
Dude, I actually started buying those like 5 years ago because they look awesome.
Yeah.
Not like the quality's awful, but they look great. Like it's like vinyls, and they look great. They're pretty good looking. They are pretty.
They're huge.
They're not. Yeah.
Hold that thought. We'll come back to that when we go to the physical aspect.
Man.
And the VHS, I have. There's some on VHS I want to come to. But
I got some.
All right. So going on to the next con. So we're going to go a little deeper dive in some cons that I don't think are talked about as much. I know for the most part, obviously, like I mentioned, it's just the convenience and physical space. But the main one, I think we've been getting issues with recently, and that's been coming up more and more, is availability, right? So digital availability, it's just the availability of any digital, certain movies, certain TV shows, or episodes within the shows that we want to watch, right? So I have a couple examples here I want to go over to kind of see, what I'm thinking, where my thought process is on this one. So let's see, when was this? Maybe about a couple of years ago. Community, one of my favorite shows, and I went through and I binged when I first saw it. It was already all out on, I think it was on Netflix, and so I binged everything. I loved it. It was great. And then I think I wanted to go back and watch it again sometime later. And then I was going through it, and then I realized there was a certain episode that was missing. I'm like, hey, wait a minute, what happened to this episode? I don't recall seeing it when I was going back and binging it again. And so I was like, that's weird. I tried to look for it again through the list, and I couldn't find it. So I'm like, what the hell? So I Googled it, and sure enough, I was reading online, and that particular episode had been removed because it was controversial. So if you guys know, I'm sure you know where I'm going with this, but the episode in question was the I think it was like the Dungeons and Dragons episode where Ken Jeong, I think is his name. I'm forgetting his name. Is he the actor, the Asian actor? Yeah, Ken Jeong. He was in that's his name. Okay, so he was playing a dark elf, I think it was. So he painted his whole face black, and so that was kind of like a satire of just that, but it was also a joke in itself, in that it looked like he was doing blackface.
Oh boy.
And so because of that, they pulled it from the streaming service. I think it was Netflix at the time, and it was just, it's gone because they had the ability to do that, right? It was in their right to do it. They have it. They're hosting it on their stream, their service.
Yeah.
So that kind of annoyed me, as I'm sure it did a lot of people.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand.
It burns me to my core.
Yeah, right. Because like they can just do that, and they did it. And so that's one of the major problems that I see. We'll go into some others, but that's the major problem I see with relying on digital and relying on these streaming services to get that content. I mean, yeah, granted, the rest of them are there, right? So it's about how much do you want that one episode, but at what point does it become, do you say no more? Like, there might be a certain episode or certain movie you want to watch or you really want, and they just don't have it. They took it down for some reason, and you're just like, okay, what the hell? And so, it's not a problem until it is, basically. And so that's just, I don't know. That's just one of the things that irks me. But before we go on, I'm gonna get your guys' thoughts on that. We have another guest joining us. He was just in the chat, ran down, jumped on the desk, and got in front of his computer, and he's here now. Blue Tattu in the house. Yeah.
Haven't seen you in like 2 weeks. Good to see you.
No, man. How's it going?
Yeah,
I haven't seen you since a couple hours ago.
In minutes, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I'll have their the links to their content in the description after the stream here. You can always check them out. But yeah, again, we're all collectors here, so we're all coming from the collector community. But we also love film and TV and video games and shows and things like that, just entertainment media. So, Mike, let me go to you on your thoughts on the availability of just shows and movies, on the reliance on those on the streaming services.
Well, my issue is when they remove what is considered controversial to them and nobody else. That's my problem with it.
Yeah.
Because the particular person in blackface was playing a character and had nothing to do with the racial implication.
Right.
If I'm correct, right?
Right. You're right. Yep. Exactly.
So every person in history recorded with black makeup on their face, everything, that's impossible.
Yeah.
It was that stereotype wasn't there.
Yeah.
So, it's disheartening, but once again, that's one of the reasons why, whatever physical media you can get your hands on, you want to get your hands on it and hold it for prosperity's sake.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of things that they're going back to that I have in my collection, and they're removing stuff. But see, I've got the stuff, the original stuff. So I've got the movies or whatever in its entirety without the edits and things like that.
Yeah, I will say, I did, after I found that out, I did go on Amazon and I bought the whole series of Community. So I have that now. And the episode was still in there.
Before they remove it from the
exactly. That'd probably be the next step. That might have been. But Alex, what are your thoughts on that?
And I hate how they censor everything. Like, I hate that kind of censorship.
Yeah.
They did that to the French Connection.
Oh, yes, I heard about that.
Yeah, and those kinds of things. Like, man, why don't you have a banner at the beginning of the movie and say, this is not okay. It was considered okay back then.
Yeah.
Just be smart and learn what's wrong and what's right. Just do that.
Yeah.
You don't have to take away things.
Yeah.
They do that a lot.
Can I rebut that? What you can't do is allow people to grow. So what Alex is talking about in that French Connection film is a point where he uses the word.
Yeah.
What you want to learn, the thing that made All in the Family such an amazing TV series is that it showed you racism and how stupid it is. And without seeing that, what you don't know when it's even in front of your face. So when you eliminate that kind of character from the movie, you're eliminating a part of history. He is showing you what is actually reality right there.
Yeah.
It's real that cops spoke like that, and they still do.
Yeah.
So it's just, and that's the most disheartening thing about it, is you have people who have control of what you can see and hear that don't have your best interest at heart.
Yeah, and it's just denying history and denying culture.
Hmm.
You're just doing that. Like you're censoring something that can be beneficial for the future because people will like it's very impactful when you see stuff like that. Like if you just delete from history the Schindler's List, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
why? So we're just gonna deny that that happened because it's
Yeah. Yeah.
traumatizing?
Right. Yeah.
Because people are gonna feel hurt?
Yeah.
It shouldn't happen, and it happens a lot. Like there's an
Yeah.
episode of Mad Men that they do the same thing, the blackface makeup,
Hmm.
and in some markets they deleted the episode.
Hmm.
And for me, it's like, why?
Hmm.
Why? Like I remember that when that episode aired, like 10 years ago, it had a banner at the beginning, like I was
Oh,
saying,
really?
like,
Okay.
yeah, there's a depiction
FYI.
here of racism. Be mindful, blah 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 blah.
Mhm.
But they opted now with digital just to remove that part, and it's like, why? Like it was something that happened in the 60s. Like you shouldn't deny history.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
it's just
I mean, it happened. Yeah. I mean, but like
yeah.
to Mike's point, we progressed, right? We got past that for the most
Yeah,
part, right?
exactly.
And so, yeah.
And but,
Yeah.
but why people don't get to see that now? It's like there's so many movies that are not right for today's standards. Like there are movies from like from the some of the first movies ever made, Intolerance.
Yeah.
What was the other name of the other one? The Bird of a Nation. Those movies have super racist stuff, but they are part of film history.
Very
And if you
simple.
take them away, like people are never going to learn what
Yeah.
was right and what was wrong.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Good points there. Yeah. Good points, Alex.
I
Blue,
get
what are your
very
thoughts on that?
passionate with that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
No,
bro.
that's what this is for. That's what, I
Yeah.
wanted to do this new show here. To touch on real quick, I came with film grain because, obviously film grain is a natural process in processing film, images taken right on film. And that just happens sometimes. But I wanted, these types of conversations to kind of be an analogy for that. It's just a natural process. We're kind of, obviously we got to behave ourselves a little bit, but random, kind of sporadic, just natural flow of things, right? And so that's where I came up with that. The name of the show is Field Grim, so I just wanted to punch that in there. But
Film
Blue,
grain is a beautiful thing.
it is. I agree. I love that the style of it. Blue, what are your takes on digital availability of media?
Well, when I first got on the bandwagon, I thought it was great.
Mm.
Like it's all ready. It's all right there. You click and
Yeah.
you're good to go. And then, I mean, but the movies don't look as good, unfortunately, because it's all compressed and all that. And like you guys were saying, they can take stuff away.
Yeah.
Like when you guys were talking, like they put Splash on Disney Plus.
Oh yeah.
They
Yeah.
put more hair on Daryl Hannah's ass.
Yeah.
Oh, we don't want to. Yeah, we don't want to fit. Yeah, exactly. We don't want to like offend anybody, or important stuff that's in film, and they could just kind of make it like
They
take
can
it
do
away,
that,
or
right?
like ignore it, like it didn't happen.
Yeah. I mean,
It's ridiculous.
yeah, it kind of is, but I guess to be fair on their part, right? They have, again, because they have the rights to those movies, or they're streaming on their platform.
Yeah.
Whether even if they don't have rights to stream on there, they can take it down. This is like if we were hosting a server, right, and there was something we didn't want on there, we can just take it down, and it's like, okay, well then don't use it anymore, type of
Right.
thing. So I mean, that's kind of like the nature of it, but that doesn't mean that that availability of where that movie or that show should be just be gone forever.
But you know what? Like the way I see that, if Disney it doesn't hold to their values, go and give it to Prime, to Netflix. Just lend it to them. Just don't get rid of it.
Right.
Like that's why I'm so angry at Disney right now, because that's what they do. They just remove stuff.
Mhm.
Well, now please understand,
Tell us.
it's not available. It's not available to you, but you better believe that everything that is filmed there's a copy.
Other means, yep. Other means. I
Nothing
mentioned
is
earlier. Yeah.
nothing is erased forever.
Right. Yeah.
It's just not going to be available to you. But there's an archive of all of these films that they tell you they got them for
Yeah.
prosperity's sake. They got them. Believe it.
Up to a certain point, there is, but we'll touch on that later.
Yeah.
We'll touch on the preservation.
There are a
aspect.
lot of movies from the 40s that were burned.
Oh
because
no,
of
I
mystery.
understand natural fires and stuff. No, I'm just
No,
saying.
no, it wasn't natural. It was the
They did it.
the mustache guy. Yeah,
Gotcha.
You
yeah.
gonna say something, Blue?
Yeah, and they should leave it as it is. Like you were saying, put a disclaimer right in front. Say,
Yeah,
this
I like
happens,
that,
This
yeah.
happens. This happens. And it's the time that it was made.
Yeah.
And leave it alone. Let it play. It doesn't depict our values now. Don't mess with the art.
Yeah.
Didn't they? Yeah, I agree. That would be a good alternative to do that and keep that.
But
whatever show so
disclaimers.
people know.
But here's the crazy thing about disclaimers.
Mhm.
You put on any store-bought videotape you've ever bought of a movie. There's a disclaimer on the front of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it says like don't use tobacco. Don't there's
Right,
there's
yeah, like, yeah.
use of alcohol and it's like
And
they never
and
go
the
and say like
The FBI thing.
Yeah.
there's never like an actual warning of what we're gonna talk
Yeah.
about subjects that are pretty intense. So
Mhm.
Didn't they
Yeah,
put disclaimers on the shows for what was it? Watchmen or Love and what was that? Love and Country with the one with
Lovecraft.
I think HBO
Lovecraft,
started
there you
doing
go, yeah.
those because they wanted to censor Gone with the Wind. They wanted to remove it from the platform because it was
Oh,
showing
yeah.
a dark time of
That is
humanity.
insane.
Oh, interesting.
And they were the first ones to start adding banners like disclaimers.
Yeah, and you Disney, I believe, removed. You can't find "Song of the South" either.
yeah,
right.
they
Yeah,
removed
that one's a big one. Yeah, it was a major controversial one.
because they are ashamed of it and like, yeah, man, but people should be able to see it, at least keep it in a museum or something.
At the
Yeah.
time, everyone thought it was. I don't know how good the movie was, but I mean, at that time, people seemed to like it.
Well, that's another subject for another.
Okay, another subject. All right, yeah. But again, film of time is
Yeah,
basically
I
my
could go
point,
deep
right?
on
Film of
that.
the
Tell
time.
you why
Yeah.
why it was so popular. But anyway,
Yeah, actually, I see.
yeah.
I see where you're going. Yeah. For other reasons, but
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, really, really quick. I had some other examples here of availability that I found out when I was doing my homework here on this subject. So, Dogma, the digital version,
oh, I love that movie.
you can't.
Oh, dude, yeah.
It's not available on streaming at all.
That's all right.
Because
I
the
got
rights,
it.
because the rights are owned by the Weinsteins, not by the studio, and so they just have been caught up, obviously, in other stuff. So they just either haven't come around to it, or they just decided not to put it on anything. And we'll touch on the physical version of that movie later on. But yeah, so that's another example I saw recently. There was a post by Screen Thrill on Instagram. So I saw this on their IG account that 28 days later is not available on streaming as
Yeah.
well.
I heard
And-
about
Saw that
that.
too. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was always, and sure enough, I went to go double check. I'm like, wait a minute, what? And so, yep, sure enough, I didn't see it anywhere
Well,
that
it's
I
just
saw. I didn't look at everything. So if it's out there, let us know here in the chat or in the comments. But what were you
Well,
gonna say, Mike?
that's post 40s, 50s. So I'm pretty sure there's an actual physical version somewhere.
Yeah. Oh, physical. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll- yeah,
it came out on Blu-ray, but
Right.
like it was shot in mini DV in 2001, I think.
But the physical
Oh.
media is no longer available. Or is that correct? Or the digital?
It's out of print. The
It's out
Blu-ray
of
is
print,
out
yeah.
of print, and there's not like a good digital copy per se.
yeah.
So,
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, we should
Again,
talk
another one of those. We'll touch on the. But yeah, you're right. It's out of print. And we'll get on. I'll bring that up again on the physical media portion. Something else I read is that Kevin Smith, he actually tried to buy back the rights from the Weinsteins, but they just basically said no.
They say no.
They didn't. Yeah, they said no, so he couldn't buy it back. He wanted to get it back.
What-
But yeah, I
what-
agree. I
what was
really
he trying to
like
buy
Dogma.
back? I'm sorry. What was he trying to buy back?
Dogma. Sorry. Yeah, I jumped back to Dogma. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's not one. That's right. That was the time that actual studios were financing him as opposed to the other way around. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was one of the movies. If I'm remembering, I think it's this movie that Disney had the rights to because it was part of was it Miramax,
Yeah,
right?
it wasn't one of his self-produced movies,
Right.
right?
They initially had that, and then
Yeah.
that's what it was. And then they came under when this was going to release. I think they got under pressure, from religious organizations that hey, if you release this movie, you're going to be in trouble. Basically, we're going to come after you. And so then they sold the rights to Dogma to the Weinsteins, and so that's why they have not a studio, the Weinstein specifically, so they own the rights to that. And so,
Well, I remember when it first came out, it was a lot of controversy. Folks were
yeah,
losing their
for sure.
minds over the George Carlin scene.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I'm with you. Though. I really like that movie. It's
Great,
in my
great
collection as
movie.
well. But yeah,
Oh,
yeah, it is. Yep.
I also
Um,
read that Kevin Smith joined the protesters. He was even on the
oh,
news.
did he?
And,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
protesting his
funny.
own
Yeah,
movie.
I
Yeah,
can see him doing that. Yeah.
yeah.
So real quick, the availability, going over to the games aspect, because again, I mentioned I'm also a gamer. I enjoy playing some video games from time to time, not as much as I used to. Again, time shortened down,
Yeah.
being a a father of two, a family man. But one of the ones I came across that I've experienced personally. We're talking about digital availability as it relates to games. So I love Marvel vs. Capcom 2. I'm not competing in Evo or anything, fighting tournaments, but I still, like a lot of people, I love that game. And that was on the PlayStation Store for a while. Let's see, in 2000, what was it? 2000, man, I can't remember the year. I think it was 2009, I want to say. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. I forgot the year, but it was on the PlayStation Store. And then Capcom ran into some licensing issues with Marvel because it's Marvel vs. Capcom. I think that I'm guessing the license expired. I'm not sure. Don't hold me to that, but something happened and they had to take it down. Right, so now it's no longer available digitally on the PlayStation Store or on Xbox, and that was, from what I understand, a really good version. I can't remember. I have it on my PlayStation, but I just haven't played it in a minute. So because I have other ways to play it now, but yeah, so that you can no longer buy that on digitally on the
Oh,
PlayStation
great.
Store or Xbox. But fortunately, because I had already bought it, I still have it. And I'll touch on ownership here in a little bit on that. So that was something I learned. Angry Birds. So we all know Angry Birds, right? So they came out with the Angry Birds, and there was Angry Birds Star Wars 1 and 2, and then there was Angry Birds Rio. So variations of the original Angry Birds game that was on Google Play, iOS. But for, again, licensing issues for the Star Wars games anyways, they deleted those both from the Google Play Store and the App Store, iOS. So those are no longer available digitally
So if you
to
paid
buy.
for them, you can't no longer download them.
Well, no, actually you can, because I have. Well, I know. Actually, no, I take that back. You might be right, because I already have it. I have it on my phone, but I think I did re-download it. I think.
Okay.
I think yeah. We'll come back to that. Yeah. We'll come back on ownership. I think it's for the reason that I'm going to bring up here, but. Angry Birds Star Wars, you can still buy physically. That's still available to purchase if you're interested. Angry Birds Star Wars 2 is not available to purchase at all. It's gone. Angry Birds Rio, one of the ones I mentioned, that's only included in the Angry Birds trilogy on physical media. So if you want that, you can at least get Angry Birds Rio and Star Wars, the first one. So again, it's just something, one of those things, right? That's just one of the risks, the gambles of having something on digital. It's just, they can just, whatever issues come up in regards to like the Weinsteins, they had legal issues. There's licensing issues with Marvel versus Capcom in the Marvel aspect, the Star Wars, again, the licensing. There's a lot of issues that can come up. So there's just some risks that are there with relying on the digital versions of this media. Blue, do you got any thoughts on just any of that stuff? Anything else to add? I know we touched on it already, but is there anything else to add after all that, or piggyback?
No, that's pretty much it. Unfortunately,
Yeah. Okay.
like stuff like 28 Days Later not being on digital. I mean, that kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Like somebody should have it, especially they're in the middle of making another movie of that franchise 20 years later, something like that.
Yeah.
They should be putting something out, and like they should be putting that out to promote. I mean, their new one. I would think closer to that date, but yeah. I mean, it's a shame
Something too.
some stuff like licensing gets in the way, and because own everything if I could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyone else got any thoughts on that on digital availability before we go on?
Nah.
It's
No?
it's very annoying, man. Like I've seen it with games.
Yeah.
The day disappear of the PlayStation Store. With
Yep.
movies, like something that happened in Latin America that was pretty crappy from Disney. The moment they released Disney Plus to the public here, they decided to remove every movie from the iTunes Store.
Wow.
So even if you bought them, you don't have them anymore because you have to go and use Disney Plus.
Yeah.
And there's been like 3-4 years since Disney Plus came out, I don't know, and they never put them back. So the only way to consume their content is if you are a subscriber to Disney Plus,
Yeah.
which really sucks. And it's the
Does.
same with Fox movies, and yeah, like you can't own them digital. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Very unfortunate.
it's very, and that's here because I have a VPN and I buy a lot of movies from
That was
from the
That's the way
US.
to go.
And
yeah.
I
That was
can
the
do
other
that.
thing I was going to bring up. VPN.
Yeah.
Yep. That's good. That's a way to go. Yeah.
Mhm.
Real quick, S Beam here say, "Buddy Christ, come on! What? How does he do it? One of those things?
Yeah.
Is that what it is?"
Bloody Christ.
Yeah, Buddy Christ. But yeah, speaking of ownership, mosey right on. So digital ownership. This is something I wanted. This is another, I would say, another con in certain for certain situations here. Specifically, you were talking about movies, TV shows, and this also applies to music, from what I understand. So when you purchase any of those three movies, TV shows, or music, you're just buying from what I understand, was it like the license to use it, during that time period, whatever, whenever you can. But you don't actually own anything. You don't even own like a copy or instance of it, because like you mentioned, Alex, once you're using it on their service, and once they take it down, you no longer have access to it, and you just lose it basically. And so I don't know. I didn't get a chance to look that much into it. So those of you in the chat or watching the replay, let me know in the comments. I don't know if some companies or some services provide some sort of compensation for that. If they just take it down, I don't think they do. I'm trying to think of an instance where I had bought something digitally and now it's no longer available. So through those major
It's like
services.
when they took down the PlayStation Vita store, it was like download everything you can until this
Yeah.
date. If you do not, I'm sorry, bro. Like, you lost everything.
Yeah. So did you do
They-
that?
They,
Did you
they
download
warn
everything?
you. Yeah, I have everything.
Okay.
Like I didn't buy a lot of games for that thing, but I have like
see.
all my 20 Vita games in the,
Yeah.
the memory card.
Yeah.
Because
So that-
you never know.
Yeah, you're right. And
Yeah.
to kind of to continue on that point, so I kind of thought something similar to, but here's where the difference is, right, with ownership. So apparently games don't follow that same that same aspect, right? That same criteria. With games, when you purchase a game, you actually purchase a copy or an instance of that license, right? So it's actually yours, and then it can be digital or physical. And so I literally just learned the digital aspect recently from doing research on this. So what happens is, so I mentioned, you own an instance or a copy of it. So once you buy it and you have it, you've downloaded it, if for some reason it's deleted, you should be able to go back and re-download it, right? It's there, it's just not available to purchase anymore once it's taken down. So you should be able to go, like, that's why I mentioned, the Angry Birds Star Wars. I was on one of my older phones. I had bought it a while ago, or I downloaded it previously. I forgot what it was. But when I heard the news that they took down Angry Birds Star Wars, I'm like, oh crap, I'm pretty sure I had that game. So I went to go double check, and you go to like your history of downloads, and sure enough, I was able to re-download it. So like, shoot. So I say that, but so now I have it, just to know it's that relief, that sense of knowing that I can still get it. So I haven't tried it with Marvel vs. Capcom 2 on my I have it on my PS3 still. I still have my PS3. I don't want to tempt it, right? But I think what should happen is I should be able, if I delete it for whatever reason, I should be able to download it again. It's
But
just
the
not available to
problem-
purchase it anymore. Go ahead.
Sorry, the problem is that if they close down the server of the store, like they did with PlayStation Vita,
Oh, I
Mhm.
see what you're saying.
then you're
Yeah.
doomed because
Yeah.
they warned you like if you have until this date to
Mhm.
download everything. After
Yeah.
that, there's no access to the store, so you can't download anything anymore, even
Yeah.
if you own it. Like the cool thing that they did with the PS4 and the PS5 is that it's the same library, so everything goes from one console to the next one.
Mm.
But with the PS3, I think that you no longer have access either. I'm not sure.
Yeah. No, that's probably that's one of those things that could be in the terms, right? I think if they say with that, I think they gave you some time, right? You were saying that
Yeah.
hey, you should download your games by this time. So maybe that's in the terms. Like if they tell you that, then maybe they wouldn't need to provide you some sort of other
Yeah, and they did the
notification or
same with the
something.
Wii U. They did the same
Oh yeah,
thing to me.
did
The
they?
same thing. Like I received an email from Nintendo, like whatever you have, you need
Mhm.
to download it. The same with the 3DS. Like I've
Oh, I got
suffered
you. Yeah.
from that. I suffer from those from the digital enemy.
But were you able to re-download anything that you had
I
bought?
I backed up everything,
Okay, so you have everything. Got it.
but
Nice.
in case I lose the little SD cards or the tiny PS Vita
Yeah.
memory card, like I'm done.
Have
Like
you tried that after the fact though? Have you tried, or have you accidentally deleted something and went back to go see if you can download it again? And were you able
I
to, or?
haven't tried. No, no, no. I don't
Okay,
want to
gotcha.
because, like I said, like I know that those servers are down, so I can
I
no
see.
longer
Yeah.
try to download anything.
Right. Yep.
It's like
Yeah.
if you have a Wii and you go to the store and try
Mhm.
to access it, you can no longer do it.
No. Yeah,
So
because it's shut
yeah,
down. Okay. Man,
yeah.
I do still have my Wii. It's just been a minute
Right,
since
check it.
a
Like
while. Yeah.
I did it with a Wii U just to see
Yeah.
if I was able to download something. Because I had a ton of Super Nintendo games there that I bought digitally.
Oh, I see on the
And
Wii.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, and you got to buy them all over again.
yeah, and some of them are not available, and
Yeah.
that's
Going back to the availability of digital
yeah.
media. Blue or Mike, any of you have thoughts on that? On just the ownership on, or any experiences on buying something digitally and or losing it or getting it back?
Well, music is a totally different beast than a film and TV,
Hmm.
because there's a variety of different licenses
Yeah.
for the most part. And then the other thing, when you're dealing with like a digital movie, Hollywood release, international release, or whatever, independent film, you're
Mhm.
usually going through an actual company that's produced it. So, hey, they're the only ones you can go to for it if they want to give it to you. With music, particularly nowadays, it's even expanded further.
Mm.
Licenses are broken up in so many. I can't even describe
Mm.
to you how many different ways licenses are broken up in music without taking over the show.
Yep.
So with music, it's beautiful because once you buy it, it's yours.
Yeah.
And it's almost like a perishable. I mean, if you delete it and the copy's gone, well, the copy's gone. It's no different than eating an apple. You're not going to get it back.
You
But
talking about physical or digital still?
digital,
Okay, digital.
even in the digital side, once you buy it, it's yours. They can't take it from you.
But if you, so if you download
With
it,
game, with ga-
then you would have it.
games, the games that they're inventing now
Yeah.
aren't games that ever had a physical platform to begin with. They're growing into the digital age as digital games, correct?
There's some games, that are only available digitally. Yeah.
Which means they never had to give you a copy. So once you pay for it
Mhm.
and they decide to take it down off of their server, you're out of luck. Now, that doesn't mean that's right, because an act of Congress can change that. Major corporations have done things to the public before.
Mhm.
If there's a big enough outcry, things can change. But it takes a huge outcry. But
Yeah.
no, but there is music. I would not lump in the same category as the others, because nowadays you can go straight to the artist himself or herself.
Mhm.
There's so many more musicians now that are producing music on their own, and they're selling it on their own websites like Bandcamp,
Yeah.
iTunes,
Yeah. Yeah.
Spotify. So the opportunity to buy something that you love and have it forever is always going to be there.
So that's kind of what I was referring to, right? I've read some instances where people bought something on iTunes. They bought music on iTunes, and I don't know if they downloaded it or not. But regardless, the fact that they bought it on iTunes and movies too, and iTunes removed them, and they no longer had access to it, and they didn't get any compensation here, like I think Blue mentioned.
Yeah.
So there had been some instances where people purchased music from them, and for whatever reason it was down and they couldn't access it anymore. You haven't. Sounds like you haven't had that
Like,
issue.
that happened to me with the
Because-
Disney movies that I
because-
was telling you. Like I had the Star Wars movies, and the moment they removed everything from the iTunes library,
Mhm.
I can no longer download them or watch them. Like I have to watch them on Disney Plus if I want to.
That once again, as a corporation, they're really wrong for doing it.
Screw you, Disney.
Yeah,
They're wrong. They're wrong. It doesn't mean it's the right thing to do. That's
Yeah.
wrong.
it doesn't mean it's the right thing to do, but
no.
that's that
But
kind of
once again, there are other outlets where you can get it, and it's not
Yes.
going to disappear on you.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean,
Right.
there's so many. You can download digital music. I mean, there's so many. It's endless.
Yeah, no, it
So,
is. Yeah,
you
but again,
never-
we're talking about like access for the masses, right? We're not
Yeah.
talking about the other means. Yeah, you can get anything by
No,
other means.
no,
right?
I'm not. No, I'm not talking about pirating. Once again, you can. Okay, if iTunes has a Jimi Hendrix album,
Yeah.
you bought it. It's in their. It's in the library. And when it's in your library, it's in their library. Don't think you
Right.
have your own library. You never have your own library.
Right. Yeah.
That's why things can pop up in your iTunes you never bought,
Mhm.
or advertise. Things can pop up in your iTunes. You have no idea why they're there.
Like the
Yeah.
U2 album.
Right.
Yeah.
So once again, but that doesn't. That's not the only place you have to go to get
Right. For sure.
that album. When
Yeah.
it comes to movies, if Sony produces something digitally and takes it away, that's the only place you can go unless you want to pirate it. But what I'm saying is there's legal ways of getting that music again.
No, for sure.
And
My point
only
was
if-
basically if you paid money on that one place, right, and they take it down, you're out of you're
It's
SOL again, right?
wrong as rain.
Yeah. Yeah. But you're
Because-
right. There are other
Because
places
if I
to go.
can buy a movie over here for $6.99, right? I buy it out
Yeah.
of Blockbuster or whatever.
Mm.
I could play it. I buy
Yeah.
that same movie here in iTunes for $6.99, and then when you take it down, it's no longer there. No,
Yeah.
it's just unfair. It's not
It
right.
is. You're right.
Very
Yeah.
unfair.
Not right.
I miss Blockbuster. They should.
Yeah.
Dude,
were you gonna say, Blue?
Blockbuster, you know, I think it's out west, California.
There's one in Portland, I think.
Oh wow.
No,
Okay, I didn't know that.
they reopened the Blockbuster, and from what I hear, it's doing well.
Oh yeah,
Wow,
they were
yeah.
supposed to come back. Or,
Surviving.
I
Hang on.
I
love
want
it.
Blockbuster.
I love it. I love it.
What were you gonna say, Blue?
And that's a problem with like buying like movies on Amazon. Like they can take it down anytime they want to, and then
Yeah.
like even if you paid $20 to buy it or whatever, they can.
Right.
If they take it down, you're screwed. You're done.
Yeah.
And that's and
Yeah.
and so the point I was going to bring up with video games and music. Like I used to play Rock Band all the time,
Yeah.
and they used to do the Rock Band weekly and bring out
Great
songs
point. Yeah.
every week. And it was great. I had a shit ton of songs. It was great. And then I'd play it like a year or two later. Some songs wouldn't be on there. They'd take them off or something. Even though like I bought them, I downloaded them onto my memory, and that but they weren't on there anymore. They took them off.
Because
really?
of the
So-
licensing.
Yep.
You had.
Yep,
So you had
licensing
bought 'em
goes
and
so
purchased
far.
them.
Yeah, a couple
Oh, I see.
years. That's it.
But did you try downloading them again?
Yeah. Well, they're there, but you can't.
Oh, so you have them still though. Are they still on your?
I haven't checked in a long time. I don't know if they're still there,
But you can't play them.
but I can't play them. Yes.
Oh, interesting. Okay, yeah, I did. Yeah, I completely forgot about that. That's a good point. Thanks for bringing that up. Yeah, because there was a Fleetwood Mac I wanted to go in because I still play Rock Band. You know, I mentioned before.
That game was awesome.
One of the
Oh,
games, I play for family night with my wife and kids. Sometimes we play that, and there was a game I wanted to download from Fleetwood Mac, but it wasn't there, and I thought it was. And so yeah, sure enough, I again look online, and people were saying it was there, but again, licensing issues, and they took it down, so you can no longer buy it. But from what I was reading, the people who had already bought it and downloaded, they still have it. So I think the difference might be because they still have it downloaded and they haven't deleted it. I don't know if that's the difference in that, but yeah, they were saying if you already have it, then you're good.
And
Right.
don't get me wrong, I'm not advocating that the government get involved in a whole lot of our lives, but in this situation,
Yes. Yeah.
you don't take a knife to a gunfight, and you're going up against going up
Yeah.
against the corporation.
Yep.
When Congress gets into their ass, then all of a sudden they do right. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And that's a good point. Something else I was going to bring up in this whole ownership aspect. The gray area with video games, anyways, is that there's games as a service where you pay for a game like you would own it, right? Either digital or physical. That's considered a good. But with games as a service, there's still some a legal debate there to take place. To your point, Mike, in that you pay for the game, but you're relying on a server. To what Alex mentioned, right? So you should own a copy of that game. But the problem is that the game relies on a server being active, and once that server is down or whatever's hosting that game, then you can no longer play it, and you're just SOL, and you can't have access to the game. It should be when you buy, like the digital video games that we buy, um, they should still work because we provided that. So again, that's the difference between games and then movies, music, and TV shows, right? Movie, music, TV shows, you pay for it. If they take it down, then you can't do anything about it. I think that's like part of their in their terms.
You're just like
usually
renting them.
Yeah, you're just renting them basically. But with games, it's like considered a good in that aspect. I don't know where the line is drawn, and I haven't got that deep into the legal aspects of it. But
I
with
think
games,
like they draw the line when their server is down. Like if they shut down, it's like, you know what, it's no longer a responsibility. Are you gonna pay for us to keep our servers working?
yeah,
Because if like probably that's what's gonna happen next in a few years. Like they're gonna be like, you wanna continue having the PS4 servers going? Okay, we're gonna charge you additional $15 from your yearly membership to
yeah,
keep it running,
Yeah.
which I wouldn't mind.
Well,
yeah. But go ahead.
they're going to figure out a way of making profit off of it. However,
But that'd be good because then we wouldn't be screwed, and they wouldn't.
And
be
they'll make
screwed
profit.
either. Yeah.
So there was a really good video that I was watching as part of this, to do my homework on this. It's called Games as a Service is Fraud. And I put the link in the description to that YouTube video. It's really long, but it's really informative. It goes over that. The guy's basically kind of, what you said, Mike, he's bringing up all his points and his counter arguments and saying why that's just BS and why, they shouldn't be able to just take it down and have to rely on their servers for that game. And yeah, he goes over ownership as well, and it's pretty informative. So if you are interested, links in the description, check that out. It's really, really informative. I thought the guy who did it was really, really well done.
hey, something that's interesting, because if you told people, they were renting it, at least they would know that it's not theirs forever.
Yeah.
And then they can also go, this is bullshit. I'm going somewhere else. I'm not renting this.
Yeah.
Renting music?
Yeah. He goes over that too. He mentions like the whole renting, like if you are renting something, it should say, they should give some sort of expiration date. And usually when you rent something on Amazon or iTunes, it does say you can watch up to 72 hours, right? Yeah. So that makes it okay. But when you buy something, I think, again, I didn't read the terms, but there's something in there that also says like, hey, you're only renting this like for X period or until, I don't know what the legal jargon is, but it should be in there, and I forgot what it said. But yeah, he goes over that in that video, the one that was mentioning. Really informative. But all right,
sorry, Nintendo is like dirty for that. Like you have Nintendo games that you bought like on the Wii U. Like when you get their next console, there should be like an upgrade, like pay $2 or something like that for this, and to keep it instead of you bought it on the Wii U. Well, guess what? You got to pay $49.99 to buy it again.
Yeah.
Like, and I always do it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they're just great games.
I hate them. I always do it. I think I bought Ocarina of Time more times than I would like to admit.
Oh. I still got my N64 version. I think it's the one that holds up for me. Yeah. All right. So this next one, we're still on the cons of digital. Right. We'll get to physical here in a minute. I think we're getting there. But the last one is not too long. But I wanted to go over pricing, and some of us touched on this already. For the most part, at least for games, anyways. And I think I'm trying to think of movies too. When they first come out, they're the same price or not close to the same price as their physical versions, right? And so, you're paying the same price, but obviously with the physical, you're getting something tangible, right? You're getting the case and the slip cover or the insert. There's some physical, tangible item that comes with obviously in the disc itself. And so some people will argue, yeah, it doesn't cost as much to make the disc, and they're probably right. I didn't do the research on that, so
I can verify that because
okay, there you go.
I've done that kind of stuff.
There we go. Our own Michael Elliott knows firsthand. It's just cheap, basically, not very expensive. As far as like the materials used for the casing and the artwork that goes into like those slip covers and things like that, that's I'm pretty sure that's more expensive there in that part of it. And
cheaper nowadays than it was 10 years ago, but very cheap nowadays, believe it or not.
Yeah. I mean, are you still talking about like the disc or the cases and the artwork of everything? Oh, okay. So even if it's minor, it's still, you're getting more for what you're paying with if you're paying the same price for digital, right? And so, I mean, I don't think there's any more to say to that than that, but what are you guys' thoughts on that? Just your thoughts and opinions on that whole aspect of it.
Well, I just have one thing quickly to say. The only thing I was trying to reiterate is that they're overpriced.
In general? Wait, are you saying the digital copies versions are overpriced?
The physical is way overpriced.
Oh, I see. You're just talking about in general, everything.
Well, digital's overpriced too. I mean, it's not even, there's nothing tangible there.
Right.
I mean, they can set that price point just about anywhere. But the physical aspect of it, particularly nowadays, is, my God, how cheap it is.
Yeah, you wait for a sale.
And look at people are now getting award-winning photographs off of their iPhones.
Yep.
The everyday person, all it is talent. The tools now are super cheap. All it is talent.
Yeah.
Great. I love it. I love it.
Yeah. No, I'm all physical, so I appreciate the talent aspect, right? Everything that goes into the design. Some of it's just basically either using the movie posters or doing some sort of photoshopping, for lack of a better word, to put like the images together. But there's some that people actually spend time on and make a really good design. And some of them, the inserts is the inserts that go for the actual cover itself. You can flip them around. They do double-sided with games. I know they do that, and I really appreciate when they do that. Right, there's like some sort of artwork on one side and on the other side, so you can flip it around, and that's just cool. I love when they do that.
Well, if you're going to charge me all this, use all of that paper.
Yeah. People are like,
yeah, give me write-ups, photograph. I want credits and details.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good point, though. Yeah, and other people are like, I can do without, again, going back to space, right? Which is fair. Save the paper, save the plastic. I don't need all that. I don't want to use like that, the disc, the materials. But then again, I would think if that's the case, then the price should be cheaper, right? So it should be proportionate, right? If you're going to remove that stuff, then I didn't do much research on that because I probably should, but it just doesn't seem, the values shouldn't be there, right? It should be kind of obvious that you would think the digital version would be cheaper. And I know go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Alex.
Give me a second. Sorry.
Yep.
It makes no sense for me that they cost the same thing.
Right.
There you go.
Because, okay, so when you make a 4K Blu-ray, the bitrate, the size of the movie is huge because the compression is very low. Like normally a 4K movie is about 35 gigabytes.
Yeah.
When you go to a digital copy, is 3.5 gigabytes, 8 at most. The bitrate normally on a digital movie is like 8 megabits per second. A 4K Blu-ray, it's 40 or 50 megabits per second. The audio is the same thing. Mm-hmm. So why are you charging me the same price for something that is lower quality? It's like MP3 versus a CD. It makes no sense if what you're selling me is the quality of the stuff.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah,
it's not fair. Like I've worked in making commercials, music videos, and all this stuff for so many years now, and it's like it's not the same thing when I give you something that's going for TV or something that's going to a movie screen. It's never gonna cost the same thing. So when you master something, in 4K, and the idea is to have it in the highest quality possible, I agree that you charge me more for it.
Mhm.
When you're telling me a compressed version that looks like crap, that it doesn't even have a good color space, because watch, like, let's be honest, you buy a movie in iTunes, the blacks look
Yeah.
like all muddy, and it's so bad. The compression is horrible.
You can see movement in it.
Yeah, it's
That's when you
really
really know.
bad.
That's when you see movement in total blackness. That's pixelation beyond
Color
belief.
fringing. That's color fringing. That's color
Yeah.
fringing. That's how it's called.
Mhm.
You have that. You have artifacting. You have a lot of defects in the image that shouldn't be there because the movie was shot with super high quality lenses in film. Like there's so many aspects that go in it, and you go watch it on Netflix or you buy it on iTunes, and it's like, really, you're selling me this copy for $35 when it's torrent quality?
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
it's
No,
not
that-
fair.
yeah, right. No, it's not. Yeah, that's again another reason why I don't understand the pricing. I probably should look into more why they're able to charge what they are. Again, maybe it's just because it's
I
their
think it's
service.
just because they don't even question it. It's like, just price it like that
Mhm.
because it's fair, because you are acquiring the movie. And they know that most people don't know about those things that I just mentioned, like the bit rate. They just say like, oh,
Yeah,
it's
not
HD,
common knowledge.
it's 4K. It doesn't matter if it's 4K. Like what you're watching on Netflix.
I just
Well,
want to watch it. Yeah,
A lot of people don't even watch a movie for the art of it. It's just for the entertainment. That's
Right.
why they can buy. I don't understand how people can actually buy first run movies, once again pirated, where somebody has gone into a theater with a camera, iPhone or whatever
Oh,
it
yeah.
is,
yeah,
put it on a disc, and
and sell
you
it.
think
Yeah,
that's what that just ruined. That ruins the whole artist's reason for making the film.
yeah,
Mhm.
that's true. Yep.
That drives me
Yeah,
batty.
but you're right. Yeah, some people just want to see it, and they at the
Oh.
least.
They don't care. They don't care.
Yeah,
But-
least
But see,
cost.
that's the
Have it in
kind of
background
thing
and
that
listen to it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's the kind of thing that drives that to continue, unfortunately. But
Yeah.
like I said, the
That's-
average
that's really
marketplace doesn't really care. They don't even pay attention to what
And that's why they can get away with it. And it's very annoying.
it would take like I said, an actor. It would take a public. This is the kind of thing where, they talk about tobacco, firearms, and all that stuff getting involved. The government would have to get involved in order to stop this because they're just so huge.
Mike, you know what's super funny? Like back in the day of the Blu-ray, they were interested in you knowing what HD was. Back then, they really wanted you to know the difference between VHS, DVD, and Blu-ray. Like it was all about that. They wanted you to be knowledgeable.
They would do
and
that
spend-
wipe. They would do that wipe.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, look at this, and like, you need to buy this
Oh my God, that
Onkyo
hummingbird.
7.1. It was like that, but they don't care anymore. They know that people are comfortable with the digital garbage, and it's like just
It's horrible.
Because it doesn't take up any space, and it's just convenient.
and that's why they tell us. But when you start knowing this kind of stuff, it's like,
and it's too many people to stop. Like,
Yeah.
because, like you said, they don't care.
No,
they
it's-
just want
it's
to
huge.
watch it for the entertainment.
yeah.
yeah,
And we'll never get away from it because they just continue to buy it. And
Because a huge giant civil lawsuit, they'll keep you in court forever.
Mhm.
yeah. 'Cause
They
the
got
money
that kind
to
of
do so.
money to just keep
Yeah.
you in court forever and ever and ever. You got to get something even bigger involved. Yep.
Yeah, Blue, you touched on a good point there that I was just thinking about why they possibly could charge the same amount for digital is because they're the ones who are using up their space, right? It's there's no space to us that's taken up, but for them they have to
You
store
make
it
a point
somewhere.
there.
Yeah, on their servers.
They have to on their servers or wherever, and they have to have maintenance on that equipment and keep them cool, right? They're using more electricity, so that just
But
I
it's
don't know
not
why.
even the studio. It's Apple. It's Amazon.
Yeah.
Because they
Yeah,
get
yeah.
that. It's
Brother,
like,
you better believe it.
That's true.
it's
Yeah,
not
they
it's
get that
not
money.
like Disney has their, well, if it's Disney Plus, obviously it is, but if it's
Yeah.
something that you're giving away to Apple to
Right.
rent or sell,
Yeah.
this is a very controversial subject.
Yeah, I need to look more into that. Yeah, like, I'm kind of curious now on like why they're able to charge maybe just because MSRP
Yeah.
or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it has to be. It has to be their space because I mean, there's no way. Well, to me anyway, there's no way that a digital compressed copy could cost the same as a physical copy with
Right, right, exactly.
with a book behind the behind the scenes special features, all that stuff. I mean, you can
Yeah,
have special features on digital, but
yeah,
that physical copy should definitely cost more. There's more art in that when it's done right. More art in that than in that digital copy.
And we also had audio commentary back in the day.
Yeah, dude.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
which is
Yeah.
no longer like you don't have that on digital copies.
On digital.
Nope.
Oh, sucks, dude.
Like, man,
Less content.
yeah, like the audio mixing, like it's the Dolby they used on iTunes. Like they say it's Dolby Atmos. It doesn't sound the same as the
You know,
Atmos
if it's
from,
Atmos, you know it.
That's another good point that I'm thinking about. Yeah, for the digital, I haven't tried actually. Can you change the sound options at all on digital?
If
Oh yeah.
if you buy it from iTunes, it's
Yeah.
automatically in Atmos, but it's not.
Okay.
It's a
I see.
compressed version. It doesn't sound like if you have like even a Blu-ray, not a 4K Blu-ray, it sounds better than that.
Yeah, because I know on some discs, Blu-ray or 4K, you can choose, right? Because they give you
Yeah,
the option
on the
for
disc you can.
Dolby.
Correct.
What's the other one? I'm blanking now.
DTS,
Thank you, DTS. Yeah,
DTS
yeah,
HD Master Audio.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, they give you the option on those, but they don't. Sounds like on digital. I didn't even check.
Hmm.
No,
I
No,
think,
there's if you buy it digitally, you don't have that option.
no,
It's just
right, okay.
Dolby or Dolby Atmos.
Yeah.
Which is not.
Man, yeah.
I think didn't No Way Home have audio commentary on the digital?
I'm not sure.
Really?
Maybe it was Amazon or something like that. I think it was on Amazon. I think
Was it? Oh, okay. Yeah, I was gonna say I thought one of those services had some sort of type of additional features, but I wasn't sure. So is it does Amazon offer that?
I think so. I think so.
Oh, okay.
I'd have to look. But I
Let's look
remember
that up.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, something
Yeah,
to look up, just something to check. On but it seems like not a lot of services offer that though, right? That audio commentary on those movies or those shows or whatever. So
Because
it's
they
not-
have to pay more, and that's like
Yeah.
yeah, dude, and the audio commentaries are so good, man. Like especially when you love that movie, you want to hear the director talk about it. You want to hear about the writer and the actors talk about it. Like I chose the scene because of this. That's the greatest thing. To
that
me.
was the magic
Yeah.
of the DVD.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. No. Yeah. There's some of them that they're informative too. You can learn a lot about the movie and the process if you're into that, anyways, from the audio
Yep.
commentary alone. So it's really cool. But again, another point there for physical and having that extra content and being priced the way it is versus digital with the same price and less features and less options, audio and video. So yeah, it's just something. Yeah, that's just kind of suspect there. So I got to look more into why that is. But all right. So going on to, let's see here. Oh, as being real quick, speaking of commentary, says Arnold commentary on Conan the Barbarian is gold. Oh, nice. Okay, I gotta check
I
that out.
need to check that out too.
Yeah, I
Super
speaking of, I
cool.
just got the Chronicles of Conan recently on 4K
Nice.
as Conan the Barbarian and the Destroyer. And there,
Oh, yeah.
I have yet to watch it, but yeah, I got it recently, maybe like a few weeks ago. They just released it.
Nice.
All right, so now going on to physical. Finally, we got through the digital, and let's get on to some physical talk here. So physical pros. Let's see here, where are we at? So again, I mentioned we're all collectors, right? We collect a lot of things. For some of us, that includes the physical media, right? There's a lot of options out there to get different variations, different iterations. Quantities is a thing. There's I mentioned there's deluxe editions, right? There's different variations in versions of these movies, TV shows, and just video games also, right? There's collector's edition in video games. So there's a lot of options out there. And so to some collectors or to some movie cinephiles or just film buffs, they also want to have those certain versions and collect them. That's just two birds, one stone. And so one of the first things I wanted to touch on was quantities, right? So limited quantities in particular. I mentioned earlier Dogma not being available on streaming, but the Blu-ray version of Dogma also is is worth a lot of money now if you're into that, right? And if you wanted to go buy it in Blu-ray, you didn't have it. It's kind of pricey because they didn't have a lot in print, and was again during that whole situation with the Weinsteins, or that one Weinstein, I should say. But yeah, so they didn't make it is available on DVD though. Like I think I was looking the secondary market, and that one the DVD is more reasonably priced because there's a bunch, and I have the copy on DVD. I'm good enough with that one, but Blu-rays, yeah. So people, again, collectors who are looking for those who are into that type of thing with collecting those versions of the film, quantities play a big factor, and that same goes for games too. Right now, I'm gonna touch on that here in a second, also with games. But so there's Dogma, Blu-ray. Again, going back to 28 days later, right? One of the reasons why I wanted to discuss this, bring this up, and start this whole this episode here. 28 days later is out of print on Blu-ray. Alex brought it up earlier, and that's difficult to get. So if you want to try to get it now, it's going to start shooting up. Or if it's not already, I haven't looked recently, but yeah, it's just one of those things. So like Blue mentioned, and I think someone else said, I don't think it was Blue, they could potentially re-release it, as promotional, to make money. Right, it's an opportunity for them, the studio, to make more money on that when we get closer to 28 years later. I don't think there's a release date on that yet, on 28 years later, but that's the reason why this whole thing came up, is because people were interested in seeing the first two. There's 28 days later and 28 weeks later. But they go back and they want to see 28 days later, and it's nowhere to be found. People who haven't seen it before, they're trying to look for it, and then they can't find it. That goes again back to digital availability, and now in this case, physical availability. But that, again, to this point that we're on here, for the collecting aspect, right? It's just something that's limited, and so it's worth something to some people, and they they go after that, and so I'm pretty sure that's going to go up in price. But what are your guys' thoughts on limited qualities and the collecting aspect of movies and our games?
Second nature.
Second nature, yeah.
To me, it's something I've done all my life. I mean, I often say I joined the collecting community in 2020, and that's not true, really. I've been a collector since about 13, no, more like 10. First comic book I bought, I was 10 years old. And from that point all the way up to the time I finally decided to sell them, I had 1,500. So,
wow.
I was so deep into comics, like crazy deep. And then I also collected the 12-inch GI Joes as a kid. So I already had it in my blood. So I just carried that into as I got older. As I moved into my older teen, young adult life, I got into music. I just brought that over. I started collecting albums. So to me, like I said, it's just second nature. It's just something I've always done, and I attach myself to something. I get focused, and I'm off and running. And sometimes it goes 3 years. Sometimes it goes all my life.
Yep. Yeah. As being real quick, I want to bring up one of the things that I was gonna touch on too. Movies, as far as movies and games, this applies. Steelbooks. I collect steelbooks, only of the movies that I want to have physical media versions of. But yeah, I love steelbooks. And again, if it's worth getting the artwork, again, going back to the artwork, that time that's spent on the steelbooks, if it looks, if it looks appealing to me, I'll buy it. If not, I'll just buy the regular either Blu-ray or 4K version. But yeah, I'm also big into collecting steelbooks. Anyone else collect steelbooks here?
Oh yeah.
No, I don't.
yeah.
I don't.
Disney just recently brought out the steelbooks to the Loki and the
WandaVision.
Mando, WandaVision, and then Mando.
Yep, I jumped on the Mando ones. Yeah.
I got the Loki one. I still got to buy the other two, but I want I want to buy them because I want them to know that they should still be making these physical copies.
Get it before they remove Gina Carano from.
Oh right. Yeah. Oh my God.
Get it.
Now that she's suing to get her done.
Yeah, you need to get it before they replace her for another character.
Countersue, yeah.
So what is what's the describe the steelbook? Is it
It's just like a
anthology? What is it?
it's just like a tin can. I don't know if it's actually made out of steel, right? But it's like a metal
It's
case.
aluminum. It's just
Yeah,
yeah.
it's just
Okay,
a case, just a metal case to
I got
hold
you.
the DVD.
yeah, it's like I don't know how I should have looked up where the term originated, steelbook. But yeah, it's a metal
Yeah.
case, and there's usually some nice artwork on it. Sometimes it's kind of boring and dull to me, but again, it's just a
But
very
it's designed. So, in other words, it's a container book cover for the actual book.
Yeah.
for the movie, yeah, or the TV show,
Or
or
the
the
movie.
game.
Yeah, yeah, got
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. For the media, yeah, that's being
All right.
sold.
Oh,
Yeah, it's just like
it's like a
it's
lunchbox.
Yeah.
yeah,
It's like a
yeah,
lunchbox. Yeah.
yeah, like a lunchbox without those metal latches.
Yeah.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm not the voracious reader that I used to be. So once steelbooks came in, I've long been, it's just never anything I invested in. But I still do what I call specialized reading or whatever. I'll pick up a book if I think they're, that almost like I would pick up a figure, for instance, like this.
Mhm. Sorry to clarify, they're just called steel books, but they're not. They're
Yeah.
still cases
I got
for the movie. So yeah, but they're not actually. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
But like something like this, this is a Han Solo anthology.
No, nice.
Really awesome.
Beam you up, enhance.
Yeah, huge book. This particular one, I decided I wanted to keep in the plastic. I'm not going to take it out.
Okay,
And
that's
it-
your item right there.
Yeah, it spans, and everybody's interviewed in it. Even Harrison Ford, everybody's in it.
Oh, nice.
Ooh.
It's really awesome. So, that this is the kind of printed media I still kind of grasp onto, but still book sounds interesting. But I probably, if I came across something that I really dug, like the Prisoner, the old '60s Prisoner, and it was in steelbook, I'd probably get it.
Oh, okay. You're talking about the movie, right? Is that a movie? The Prisoner?
TV series. Do they
Oh,
do
TV series.
Do they series? Do they do series as well, or no?
Yeah, yeah, they do. Some of yeah. I don't know. Yeah, it seems like now going forward, I don't know if they did one for the Prisoner. I haven't can't recall. But like at a certain point, they started doing them for TV shows.
I always liked box sets more than steelbooks.
I gotcha.
Like, I was
Box
always
sets-
more into
yeah,
that
box
kind of
sets are
stuff,
nice.
like more the whole like 5 discs and the booklet that has
Yeah.
art and I always like that more than steelbooks. But right now, like there aren't as many box sets as before.
For like
Because-
TV shows.
Oh no, even movies. Like I
I
on
see.
Blu-ray, I bought a ton of box sets from classic movies. I got the one from The Wizard of Oz, and it had a
Ooh.
beautiful art book. Got the same for Gone with the Wind, Casablanca.
Yeah.
They
Well,
had some beautiful booklets, like really beautiful art, and the box was, I don't know, like it's cardboard and nothing really special. That it was actually very very pretty, but I like that more than the steelbook. Like I normally felt before that they had more to offer than just the steelbook. Just because the steelbook sometimes they don't have space to fit a lot of stuff in there. Just the
Oh,
discs.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So just for an example here, real quick, as Bean, thanks for the photo. He sent me a picture here. So just on Amazon, it looks like
Alright.
they're selling 28 days later. Again, these are used copies, right? Because you can
Of
still
course.
buy 28 days later on Blu-ray
I
used.
can
You can-
imagine what they're asking for them.
Yeah.
I
one's
had
close to
eBay
100.
open. Yeah,
One's close to 100, one's over 100. So yeah, it's already shooting up there. If you have access, if you can get it, and you actually want it, you want for the movie, not to, not to take it away from someone who'd appreciate it. But yeah, I would kind of go out there and find it if you can.
on eBay it's $80, like most copies that I'm seeing.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's not. Yeah, it's still obviously overpriced, but
Yeah,
taking advantage of the situation. But still, like I'm sure it might go up more.
Man, that's a franchise they could do forever. They could come out with
Yeah.
28 decades later, 28,000 years later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure that price will come down once they, re-release some.
Re-release it. Yeah.
but you know what's very funny, guys? Like it's a movie
series.
that was made on tape.
Yes.
It's a movie made on mini DB.
Yeah,
The
you mentioned that. I didn't know that.
Movie,
Yeah.
The master of the movie
It's
is
an
in 720p.
I love it.
Like that's the
Didn't know
highest
that, wow.
quality you can get on that movie.
You good? Yeah.
Like that's as high as you can go. And it was shot with a Canon camera that I had in my film school. Like it's so
Yeah.
bad. It's so bad. But it
But
was cool
there's
back in the
something
day.
beautiful
Yeah.
about it, though. I
Yeah.
love
There is,
when
yeah.
people can take the littlest, minimalist thing they got
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
turn it on its ear, and you go, "What?"
And it was an artistic choice to have this camera, and it works.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
really, like if you can buy the DVD for $5, go and buy it. Like it's not gonna be any different than the Blu-ray. Like
Right,
it's the same. Like it's the master is in 720p. Like unless they remaster it with artificial intelligence and make it 4K and fix the textures, it would ruin the movie. But
Yeah.
yeah, buy the DVD.
Yeah, I don't think they. I didn't see it on 4K. So yeah, again, like Blue was saying, and like we mentioned earlier, they may re-release it as we get closer to 28. The release of 28 years later. I mean, that's money on the table for them, right? If they see
It
this
would be
movie
so.
make money
But
in the secondary market, go ahead.
but on 4K, like the movie's in 720p.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Like,
Again,
I
going
mean,
back
that
to
is-
people
that
like
is
not
so
being aware,
bizarre.
and it's like, hey,
That is
here's the
so bizarre.
And that's okay. I'll still take it.
All right,
Yeah.
well,
Imagine like the image on the screen, like
Yeah,
this
yeah, yeah.
tiny, this
Yeah.
tiny little.
yeah, it'll be
But I mean, yeah,
it's
going back to
square.
like that's one of the few ways people can buy it. I'm sure they'll buy it, right? And that's
Blow it
money
up
that
and
goes
pixelate
to
the hell out of it.
the studio, whoever owns
Yeah.
Well,
it.
I could take it and blow it up, and then you pixelate the hell out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
yep. They do that now with some movies, right? There's some movies that are just like they use some versions that are just
Well,
either up-res or not.
yeah.
They don't even take the original film and what's the term? Is it remaster from the original? They just
Mhm.
take the same. What am I thinking? What's the term?
If you do that, like that's called upscaling. When you do
Yeah.
when you go from standard definition to 1080p, but you don't do a remaster process with the master of the project.
Right,
That's
yeah, that's what I
just
was referring
upscaling.
I see.
When you do a remaster, is when you have the original files and you work from those.
From there, yes,
to
okay,
create the-
gotcha.
It's the same thing with music.
Yeah, same thing. Like, well, both things are almost the same but different.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep,
yeah. Thanks
exactly.
for clarifying, Alex.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's so. Yeah, remasters taking the original, which we'll
Yeah.
actually touch on here with preservation.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, there are some movies where they don't.
Get the masters. They don't.
They just
Yeah,
upscale
they-
them.
Yeah, they just upscale them for
Yeah.
mass resolution.
There are a
Yeah.
ton of the first Blu-rays that came out from like The Last Samurai and movies like that they just upscaled the DVD version to
Mhm.
1080p
And it's still
and they sold it to you
You
for
can tell,
$40.
Gosh.
Real quick, we got the movie canon in the house. Hey guys,
Hello,
thanks for
Gio.
joining us,
What's up,
Gio.
movie
Yeah.
canon?
Thanks for showing up, popping in here. Let's see here. All right. Real quick, going back to again limited quantities from the game aspect. So there's a couple of things that again I had experience with going back to Marvel vs. Capcom 2. That's another one. So limited quantities on that. I have it. I was fortunate to get it for the PlayStation 2 back in the day, even though that version wasn't that great. But limited quantities on that, so that one's worth a good amount. But I like the game, and I just wanted to get a copy of it, and that was the only way to get it at the time, and so I got that one. But now it's worth a lot. Now the Dreamcast version again, so limited quantities on that. That's worth a lot of money. And that's I think one of the best versions to have is the Dreamcast version. So if you want to play that, if you don't already have a Dreamcast, you have to buy that, and then you have to buy the game, which is pricey already. So that starts adding up, but. It's available, but it's because of the limited quantities that makes the value there shoot up, or the worth, I should say, of that game. So again, going back to the collecting aspect of movies, of media, TVs, series on that media, or video games, and just anything in general, right? Anytime anything's limited in quantity, it's going to be worth more if that's what you're after. Right? That the worth of that item or that collectible is going to be higher. If it's,
Blue loves limited edition. Ask him.
yeah, limited.
Blue loves it.
Yeah, he does. He's all about it. Yeah. And then one thing, another one I forgot that is not really available anymore, readily available, I should say, is the Star Wars theatrical releases. Right, the last version they released that on was the DVDs, which I, fortunately was able to get. But yeah, so the DVDs. There was a set where they had the special edition and the theatrical release. There was all the episodes 4 through 6 they released on DVDs with those two versions. But after that, you can't get good clean version of the original Star Wars movies, the theatrical releases on like Blu-ray or 4K. That's it goes up to DVD, and even then, we were talking about either conversions from other formats that's not the best quality on the DVD one because it's just taken from the Laserdisc version, but it's better than nothing. So now that's the highest
And I
quality.
think it was even like they stretched out the image because it was a 4:3 copy from the laser.
Oh yeah, it
disc.
was. That was one of the things that people had issues with. It was actually, see, it has the bars. What is that? So it's not anamorphic widescreen.
That's letterboxing, like the 235. Like that's letterboxing just for the anamorphic, and that was a 4:3, which is a square.
Yeah. Yep.
They stretched that out. Yeah.
And that was one of the issues that they had, that people had with that version. And but again, it's we have it. If you have it, fortunately, that was one of the, and that's one of the ones that's still available also that you can get on.
I am gonna be an advocate of piracy here, and I'm sorry, but some people that are very, very talented or Star Wars fans, they made something very beautiful called the 4K 77 cut, 4K 80, and 4K 83 cuts. These fans decided to go all over the world and get copies in 35 millimeters of the movies and remaster them themselves and cut a print of the original films. And you can download them if you go to Star Wars forums. They have links there. And it's the only way to watch the original movies. And they made such a great job preserving those movies. And you get to see them like they were in the theater. Yeah, it's beautiful. Like I have them. I can give them to you.
Oh,
that's awesome. Yeah, I just recently found out about that.
It's piracy, but it's the only way to get them.
Yeah,
and that's sad too, because they should Disney should be leaning all into that, man.
I think George Lucas. There's this rumor that he made them sign that they would never release the original theatrical cuts when he sold Star Wars to them. It's a rumor, but I think it's true.
There's a saying that goes.
Well, probably just want them messing with it. I mean,
there's a saying that goes, "Streets gotta eat."
The streets gotta eat.
But you can have it for free now. I'll send it to you. I'm gonna upload it to a Google Drive and send it to you.
Okay, nice. Yeah, that's we mentioned earlier, like getting entertainment media through other means, and this is one of those ones where if it wasn't for that, we have no way to have a good version, a good copy of that movie, right? Of these fans who are more appreciative of the films and they want to share that with others. So I don't know. Again, there's whether you think that's morally right or wrong, I don't know. That's up for debate still too. But,
I think that for me, like I'm against piracy, but that is preserving a movie, which you can't find any other way. Because the creator acted in a very dumb way, destroying the original print.
Oh, he actually destroyed it.
Yeah, they say like people in ILM say that there's not an original copy of the film there. Like the original 35 millimeter print.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Wow.
Holy
okay.
crap.
I don't know. That was part of that. That's really.
And George Lucas did some stupid stuff. So.
Wow.
So the other collecting aspects I wanted, so again, that was limited quantities. The other collecting aspects I wanted to bring up. So I mentioned steelbooks. There's also a company or a group called Titans of Cult, and they re-release some movies with certain set, like collector sets. If you say, like Alex mentioned, box sets. Sometimes they're box sets. Sometimes they have other items like pins or posters included. They kind of collector friendly, right? They make it for the collectors, people who appreciate the film, and I have a couple of them. Some people say they're overpriced, so I guess it's up to each. That's subjective, right? And what you're willing to pay for whatever movie that they come out with. But that's an option. Link is in the description for them. Also, if you want to check them out, their Facebook page to see what kind of stuff they do. So that's related to movies, related to games. I know. So there's a company called Limited Run Games, and they are all about game preservation, right? Physical media, also physical media forever. Yeah. So they come out with sometimes they bring out older games and they make physical copies of them, and again, collector friendly. They include certain they have multiple editions that you can buy. You can just buy the game, or you can buy collectors or special editions that include items or things to collect. So there's limited run games, and then there's another one called I Am 8-Bit, and similar, right? They make games and also music vinyls and albums, right? Music related things, media, also physical media. But yeah, those two companies, again, links in the description below if you want to check them out. You're interested. They come out with some good stuff, right? They're all about game preservation and physical media also. So Alex, it seems like you were a fan of either, both, or one of those.
Yeah, those limited run guys, like they made the Shadows of the Empire box set, and it was pretty cool. It was
Oh, did
packed
they?
like yeah, it was packed like a Power of the Force figure. It was pretty cool.
Cool. That is cool.
Yeah,
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 they get pretty creative with stuff like that. I bought a couple of things
yeah,
from limited run games, and I am 8-bit. Collector says, again, just because they were cool, I liked what they
yeah.
included with them. I really enjoyed the games, obviously. So
Yeah,
uh,
they make some. It has like this fresh take for those old games. It's pretty cool.
yeah,
Like how
yeah,
they triggered your nostalgia with their box sets.
yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, they're really
I'll
cool. So yeah,
check
check
them
them
out.
out
It's cool.
for those watching. Yeah, and see what they have. And there's not a wide variety, right? But there's like certain select games, and so
Yeah.
maybe it's something that might appeal to you. And again, it's limited run games. Obviously, there's like a limited. They sell a limited amount
Mhm.
of whatever they're coming out with. But if there's something you really wanted, obviously there's a secondary market. It may be pricier because it's was limited and so it's out. But yeah, just keep an eye on them. Maybe there's something that comes out in the future you might like. Mike, have you heard of any of those? Titans of
Uh,
Cold for movies, or the we already talked about steel books, but any other collector's edition type item things that have caught your eye before? Or no.
well, because I'm a few few years older than you guys, I've gone through several iterations of media, and oddly enough, when it comes to things like movies, I what do I got here?
Oh,
This is the only Blu-ray I own.
oh, Tomorrowland. I
I
haven't seen
worked
that.
on that movie.
Whoa,
really?
nice.
I worked on that movie.
Get out of here! You did?
Yeah, it was shot in Vancouver where I lived. Yeah,
Exclusive.
yeah.
It's funny because
I hate it.
well, I don't even remember if I liked it or not.
You wouldn't, knowing you, Mike, you
I
hated
don't
it.
remember. But I don't know. Somehow the whole Blu-ray thing passed me over because I went from VHS to DVD,
Mm.
and then when Blu-ray came in, I just started getting most of my stuff digitally. So, which is, but I got an extensive library of stuff on
Music.
on video for instance, we were talking about. I showed this earlier. So
Oh, yeah.
that's the
Shrink.
so that's the remastered version.
Oh, okay. Yep.
All right, but let me show you this. This goes way back. So this is
Yeah.
the same. This is when they came out with both versions. So
Nice.
you see the remastered down there.
Yeah.
This is before they even called it A New Hope. Remember,
Oh,
they
yeah.
changed the name.
Yep.
Yeah. So
I
it's
don't remember that. Wow. I thought it was always New
Nope.
Hope.
No,
Okay.
they didn't change the name to A New Hope until about what, maybe 10 years ago, Blue or something.
No, that they changed that for that release. The one you have right there. That's a special edition. They changed it.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that already. If you play that, it already says A New Hope.
Oh,
The
really?
version you have there, that's from '97. It's the same that you have right in your hand. There. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Then this is a 3-box set.
Yeah, I had that one. Yeah.
So,
I
yeah,
was getting ready to say a
yeah.
lot of people recognize this one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's when we started to get angry at George.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and I still have a VHS
VCR?
recorder. Yeah,
Nice.
Yeah. I embrace it. I embrace the old. Every once in a while, I go back and I watch VHS.
Yeah. You got me. Yeah.
Depending upon what held up, because some of these tapes degrade.
Yes. They do.
But
Yeah,
surprisingly enough, I've come across even homemade VHSs that I did back in
Uh-oh.
the 90s
Okay.
that are it's almost as clear as a bell. I was like,
Oh, wow.
whoa, look at the image on there.
Nice. Yeah, I've been thinking about getting a VCR recently because my parents still have Tajio's The movie canon here, what same kind of similar to what he mentioned here is maybe when Lucas dies, the estate would release them. He's talking about the original theatrical Star Wars releases, but he says I have the VHS of the original Star Wars somewhere in my parents' house. So yeah, I have a bunch of VHS tapes also at my parents' house, and so I was thinking about getting a VCR. Yep,
You can take it down anywhere you want. I got it.
Yeah.
We go we go
we got
back.
Oh man.
Oh, loaded weapon one. Nice.
Yeah. Mike's doing a show and tell early.
I'm sorry. I'm not sure when. Dude,
no, that's all right. I'll bring you. No, you're good. You're excited. It's all good. I love it. No, you're.
Because I got one other thing I want to show you're gonna really crack up.
Oh yeah. Okay, say that one for the end. One more. He has one more. It's all good, buddy. No. That's why we're doing this. Like our love of film, our love of.
You got me going.
Yeah. But yeah, there's some VHS tapes that my parents have still, so that I keep meaning to go when I go visit them to go check and see what they have still, and but I need to get a VCR. Right? That's the thing I don't have. So we'll see.
And a TV.
Yeah. I have a CRT TV actually. Because again, being a gamer, I still have my older consoles,
Nice.
and so I want to be able to play them like as they were meant to be played. So and I still have a CRT that I had for a while, and it still works. And
Nice.
so yeah, I got the TV. I just need the VCR.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm all about preserving that. Well, again, we'll touch on preservation here in a minute. So yeah, that was movies, games, TV shows, that media just in general as a collector's item. Let's see here. So going on to the next one of the pros, another pro of physical media, and this one is kind of, I think, doesn't pretty straightforward. Doesn't have to we don't have to go too much into it, but lending or reselling, right? You have a physical copy, and you can basically lend it to whoever you want or resell it, right? So the reselling aspect is what I wanted to touch on more, because there were businesses based on that, right? We had for games, anyways. There was GameStop was big on that. There was Electronics Boutique, EB Games, right? And other similar companies who that's how they made their money, buying your games at low prices and then reselling them at higher prices. That's how they made their money. And so that's their business was based on that. And then, as we've been seeing recently, those are almost all gone, right? Those are just almost all obsolete. GameStop is hanging in there, but that's only because they've switched their main focus to more like collectibles. Again, we're talking about collectibles here, right? Pops, action figures, apparel, game related, all that's IPs with all that merchandise with IP related game related IP, I should say. And so they're trying to refocus that, and they're still hanging in there, but I don't know. I haven't checked recently, but last I checked, they weren't doing too well. And so you will obviously remove physical media, and you don't have that. You don't have that option. Okay, going back to just a digital only, and I did read that even if you bought a digital version of a game that's considered a good, you can resell it, but you would have to find some way to obviously transfer it, right? You have the option to sell it somehow. I've never heard of anyone doing that, but apparently you can do that. You can transfer ownership of that instance or that copy of that game you have to someone else. So yeah, that's one of the pros of physical, right? At least you have that option to resell it. Again, go on eBay, go on Amazon. There's a bunch of used copies of people selling their stuff. You can just donate it. You can just give it to somebody else. You can let somebody borrow it. That's the stuff I'm kind of more into, right? Just if I have some friends or some people who haven't played something or seen a movie and they want to watch it and they don't have access to it, and I can go, hey, I have it. You want to borrow it? Have at it. I mean, that's something I used to do a lot when I was younger with games. We're like, hey,
it was called Napster.
Yeah. No, like if one of my friends, if they wanted,
everybody had it was so new.
Peer to peer.
Nothing like that ever existed before. You were tempted.
Yeah.
Hey guys, you want to get the whole Led Zeppelin library?
Yeah. Check this out. Yeah, and so like for the most, like when my friends, if they wanted to check out a game and I had it, and they wanted to see if it was worth it, I let them borrow it, right? Because I'm helping them out by possibly saving them money if I didn't like the game. Because back then there wasn't really a way to play it. You could rent it, but that's before that, before there was options of renting that, this is way back in the day, so I'm probably dating myself here, but or if the game just wasn't available to rent, and like, hey, you want to check this out, you can borrow it, and vice versa. And so that's just stuff like that. And now that's not really, there's demos and things like that, so it's not really as big of an issue, but that was a big thing.
I got more thrill out of learning about new music or new movies through my friends as opposed to
Gotcha.
well, yeah, that
To
was
borrowing like an
oh,
album,
it's
you
just
didn't
like,
borrow an album from somebody?
oh yeah, man, that was the beautiful thing about it. That's before a lot of the digital aspect of it. You didn't automatically have all this music accessible to you, so you learned a lot about or you taught your friends about other artists that they'd never heard of.
Yeah.
So I don't think I'd have been a musician or a DJ to this day had it not been for when I was really super young, and my middle brother's best friend who lived down the street from us introduced me to an array of music that I would have never heard anywhere else.
Yeah.
And so that opened me up, and then I turned my friends onto it, and that opened them up, and then my other friends, and the world expanded.
Yeah.
And it was a lot more fun when it was organic like that, as opposed
Yeah. You're sharing that. Yeah. You're sharing that with others, your like-minded people, your friends, like you were saying. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I like that. That's bringing people together who have this common interest in their taste of certain things, either music or movies or film or whatever. That's awesome. Anybody else have any thoughts on just that whole aspect, the reselling, lending, or borrowing, or just transferring, giving it to somebody else, the physical copies?
It was really cool when you could. You can still do it, but I remember when Blu-ray came out, I started selling all my DVDs to buy Blu-rays, and it was super cool. And I did the same when Nintendo 64 was obsolete, and I wanted GameCube games, and just traded a few games. It was really cool. It was really cool to do that.
Yeah,
and it's something that I kind of miss that you don't. It's not as easy to do anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, like you can go to in the States, you can go to GameStop, but they give you garbage money for your game. So
yeah, and then like I mentioned, they turn around and they sell it for higher. That's how they got their money.
They give you $3 for a game and they sell it for 15.
Yeah.
GameStop does great clearances, but their normal price, and sometimes they're a few bucks above retail.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
And
never went to GameStop. We had a place in town called a Video Trading Company or something like that, and they had games and whatnot that we'd take games down there and sell them and get new games, and that was fun.
Yeah.
I
Yep. Same. Real quick, I was gonna say, going back to the whole limited quantities and just the collecting aspect, one thing I forgot was that it's kind of, we never know, right? It's all hindsight. We never know if a certain movie physical copy is just gonna shoot up in price, or if something's gonna be worth a certain amount, right? It's just in general, we don't know for sure. It's just based on what happens in the future. So again, going back 28 days later, in this instance, the only reason that became a thing is because 28 years later is coming out soon, and so the hype went up for that. And so who's to say, maybe some movies that we have now, or some movies in our collections anyways, or some that are just there and no one really would think twice about, would shoot up in price or value, because something else might come along. And it goes with anything, right? We talk about all this, again, going back to figures with Hot Toys doing re-releases, or something being scarce, or a movie driving up the hype, or their worth later on in the future. It's just, we just don't know. So it's kind of hard to tell, or if a certain figure is going to sell out because of popularity versus others. It's just all hindsight, and so we don't know for sure.
Like the difference with movies is that you obviously see a jump in quality from VHS to Blu-ray.
Right. Yeah.
And if you see a VHS that is expensive, it's mainly because it's a cool box, or it's a collector's edition.
Or it's rare, Yeah,
but it's not really because of the quality of the movie, because if you want the best quality, you're going to go with the latest release.
Yep, for sure. Yeah.
Most of the times, because they sometimes screw things up when they remaster stuff. Like the Indiana Jones Blu-ray, not the 4K. The Blu-ray was horrible. They oversaturated everything. Like
Oh, dang.
it was very
Yeah.
Was
bad.
that the one? Was that the one that came in the set?
It came out in 2014 or 13. I can't remember.
Okay, I need to check
The
because I
4
have the. I
movies
bought.
came out.
Yeah, I bought the one that was the Blu-ray. I think the latest Blu-ray that came in the set and had like this like other extra stuff. It
But
was
did
like
you
a
buy it recently, the 4K?
no. It's the Blu-ray.
The
It's not the
Blu-ray?
4K.
Okay. The
I, I,
Blu-ray, they really screwed up
oh man,
the color grading
I
on
gotta
that
go
one.
check now. Okay.
Yeah, like if you look at the hat, it looks super red, and the
Oh
hat
wow.
is not red; it's light brown.
Okay. I don't remember that, but I don't know. Maybe I just wasn't paying attention. I have to go back and check now.
Yeah,
Dang.
check it out. But they really screwed it up. Yeah.
All right. Gotcha.
Now I know to avoid the Blu-ray.
Yeah, avoid the Blu-ray, get the 4K.
Yeah. Then now you know. If you guys didn't know before, everyone watching out there, now you know.
Yeah.
All right. So going on to the next. Let's see. Physical. Let's see here. And actually, I don't think it was all the pros here. There's some cons with having the physical. The only one that I can come up with, again, ignoring the obvious ones, right? It's just space and take up space, and so we're all aware of that one. I think that's one that comes up a lot.
Well, I mean, there is one more con to digital. Should I say to media in general, depending upon what you're using.
Okay, go ahead.
Faulty equipment.
Oh yeah,
VHS tape got eaten up, in the heads and stuff like that. So all of these devices, even the digital devices, have their hiccups and stuff to it. So that's if there's any downfall to it, it's that. But hey, you clean the heads and you never really have that problem.
Yeah. If you're talking about VHS,
it's more maintenance, but who cares?
Yeah, that's pretty infrequent though. But yeah, that's a possibility for sure. So the last one here, diminishing availability. I don't know if this is really a con, but with that news that we had, what is the end of last year, Best Buy basically getting rid of, not selling it, phasing out Blu-rays, DVDs, and not even selling 4Ks. Just hopefully, I hope it's not the trend, but I think it will be. I don't know. I hate to say it, so I don't want it. I want to be wrong. So I put a post on this recently on my IG account, but they're phasing those out. They're still selling games though, from what I know. They're selling the physical games in the store, but movies, the discs themselves in store and online, they're not selling, or they're phasing them out. So they're getting rid of those, and so that's the con of that is just not having it available, right? So I don't know if that's really a con, but it's kind of scary to think about, honestly, personally for me. What do you guys think about that?
I tell you, man, Radio Shack is trying to make a comeback, believe it or not.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Oh, good for them.
I might take a chance. Hey guys, let's take a gamble. Let's start selling media.
Yeah.
Physical media.
Yeah, like kind of what you mentioned earlier, Mike, too, about availability in general, about buying things with other places. You still can, that's just Best Buy. You still can buy them online. Obviously, there's other places, Amazon, Target, or wherever you normally buy your movies. You can still get them there, but
unfortunately, it does look like I don't know, man. It could get to a point. I mean, sometimes companies reverse the things they do.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. Yeah.
I mean,
they could in the future, because obviously the things that were old or outdated are now making a comeback, all retro type things, or making a comeback. So they could do that later on in the future. I'm like, oh, vinyl obviously is a good point. People are like, vinyl's become popular again when that was phased out. So we shall see. I don't know. Maybe that might become a retro thing in the future. The disc 4K Blu-rays. All right. As Beam here, one con, having no electricity. Yeah, that's a good point. You can't watch anything then.
There you go.
Yeah,
having no TV.
No TV. All right. So that was you guys think of any other cons for physical?
Maybe just the player breaking down or something like that. Getting scratched, or you're not careful with your discs, and you mess that up, and it's screwed after that, unfortunately.
Right. Yeah, but I mean, it's usually an easy fix, right? You can just go and buy another either VCR, DVD player, Blu-ray player. The main thing is that you still have that copy of that movie, that TV show, that video game, right? It's like if it's just a means to play it, right? So you have it with you, but you just either got to fix whatever's broken or try to find some equipment to play it. Yeah, but you still have that physical copy there. So
I think one other kind of like what I was saying about sometimes you think you are buying the best copy out there, like within the other films, and you're not because they didn't do.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Yeah, for a lot of people, for the average person, they're not going to know which version they're buying. They can it just came out and they see it on sale and they buy it, but they don't realize that's not the copy.
And sometimes, like for more regular movies, sometimes they do 3 or 4.
Yeah, a bunch.
Masters of the movie.
Yep.
And you don't know which one you're getting. So,
yeah. To Mike's point earlier, though, like some people just don't care about that. They just want to see the movie or TV show or whatever. They just they don't care about the quality, and so they're like,
that's sad.
That's sad. Then they go back to watching the bootleg version with the recording, the digital recording of it. But no.
People walking in the theater.
Yeah.
Coughing.
Oh my God.
Down in front.
All right, so going on to one of the most important topics here in general for media is preservation, right? So we have movie and game preservation. So we're going to cover movie real quick first, because I know we're already going. I think Alex called it. We're going on longer than what I thought. I'll try not to keep you guys up here too long, but so real quick, we touched on this earlier. I want to do a little quiz with you. So there's a common estimate. Of a percentage of American silent films that have just vanished. And if you know the answer, don't say it. But I want to see if you guys know. So this is just an estimate, right? This is just what's been thrown around in the industry as a common estimate. So what percentage of all American silent films have vanished? There's like no trace of them, like no copies of them.
Silent
Sorry, the clarification here, additional item, a hint. So this is before 1950s. Before the year 1950. Okay. What percentage of all American silent films are just gone forever?
Silent films weren't. The silent films ended in 27 with the jazz singer.
Yeah, 27 or 29, I think.
So why are you taking it all the way up to the 50s, Feezy?
Because that's just where this fact comes from.
Because they weren't making silent films in the 50s and 40s and 30s.
But they didn't have like preservation techniques yet for a lot of these.
Oh, I see. Okay. Out of those decades, right? Yeah. It's been degraded.
Up to that point, like they were still on some sort of film, right? They were recorded and on like something.
They were in storage, but they didn't have the proper conditions to keep them there. And
so those movies that were on film, the American silent films. Yeah. What percentage of them are just gone, like destroyed, or just they're not available anymore? What would you say? Percentage? What percentage? You can throw out a guess.
60%.
60? 60?
Yep.
Okay, Alex.
Say 40%.
40? Okay, Mike.
I'm going to follow Alice. This guy's in the industry. Plus, I think you said something about a fire earlier. Was that a fire about films? A film production studio burned up? So that. Who knows what was in there? I was gonna even go lower than 40, but I don't know how many silent. I bet you there are more silent films made than you think. I'm gonna say 28.
28. So again, this is an estimate. The one that's been thrown around here. S-Beam's guessing 75. Yeah, I caught his guess right in the nick of time here. All right, so the answer is 90% of American films.
90%.
Jeez.
Yeah, made before 1950 are just gone. They vanished.
That sucks.
And get this, including next one. This is probably in the second category. So now sound, American films with sound made before 1950. What percentage do you think are just gone forever?
Oh, that'd be horrible. I don't even want to hear that number. Especially with sound too.
Yeah, this is the original, like the film, the original version.
To be honest with you, I don't know why I said 28% in the silent film, because all film is really in trouble.
Yeah,
It's in trouble being archived. I'm gonna go big. I'm gonna say
Well, it's films with sound, American sound films. What do you think?
maybe I should go smaller.
What- You
Yeah,
can
wait. Go ahead. No,
okay, good. Blue. What do you think?
Uh, maybe I'll go with 50%.
50. Okay, Alex.
Wow, that's a lot.
I'm gonna say 52.
50. Okay, Mike.
Wow. I'll say 38.
38. Wow, yeah, Blue and Alex got it right. 50% of American sound films made
That
before
is
1950
a lot of
are just
film.
gone. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
That's true.
Again, those are estimates. Yeah, they don't. I don't know. They obviously can't give us an exact number because they're gone, right? So they can't count them.
10% is too much.
Yeah,
Yes.
and including in those in that estimate, one of the movies that are just a negative right version of this film is gone. That includes King Kong. So the original
The
version
original
of that
is gone.
Yeah.
no longer exists. Yeah.
Damn.
Yep. But there's versions out there, but the original is an
Yeah, the master is gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? That's just
Yeah.
man.
Well, I think it's been about 4 years now. The record industry lost a whole plant with, they lost major jazz performers. I think like somebody's whole library is gone and
Wow.
and some rock. And I mean, it was a devastating fight. We've lost a lot of great music, folks.
Yeah. That's definitely a tragedy. That's just art that was made that just no one's ever going to experience again. It's just crazy. It's
Yeah, all of these
really
great masters gone.
yeah. Yeah. Fortunately, though, now, I mean, we don't have that decade of entertainment. That's gone. But, we've now learned, and there's a lot of organizations out there. There's numerous film organizations that are all about preserving film and I think TV as well. One of the major
Criterion.
Criterion.
And they need your help.
I love them.
Yeah. One of the popular ones I think a lot of people know is the National Film Preservation Foundation that was created by U.S. Congress. That's just one of them. There's a plethora, if you will, of organizations that are preserving film.
Or there are some sites where you can donate to them. Archive.org is awesome.
Archive.org. Okay.
Oh, dude, you can find everything from old 50s Flash Gordon to 2001 Space. I mean, you could just find so much great stuff in music and film. It's called archive.org.
Okay, nice.
It's some things that I don't have everything under the sun. There's a pretty vast library. And in certain situations, depending upon what you're looking for, like they may have like the entire, 66 Batman, the whole series or whatever. So a lot of their files is a whole series of certain things too. So archive.org.
Archive.org. All right, I'll have to check that out. I haven't heard of that one. But yeah, kind of going back to what Alex had mentioned, and I think you touched on this also, Mike. There's one of those rare occasions where torrents or digital, piracy. I don't say piracy per se, but just digital versions of those, of having these copies, could be beneficial, right? Along with preservation, because they may not be the originals of some of these films. In some case, they might be, but if you rely on others to take care of it or to preserve it, you don't know what's going to happen, right? It's just having a backup is always good. So, again, kind of the morality of that, of whether that's right and wrong, that's to each their own. But there's certain instances where if someone at least has it, that'll be preserved. You go ahead, Alex.
Like when it's something like that, like what we're saying about Star Wars, like it's something that I think it's very sad that any upcoming filmmaker doesn't get to see why Star Wars was so important when it comes to VFX, because they are altered digitally now. So you're not seeing what was so impressive about those movies.
Right.
And having these people, these fans who are not charging anything to do it, they're doing it from their own pocket, to give you that experience that Mike got to see in theaters, I wasn't even born. like,
Yeah.
Right.
like that kind of experience, like that should be valued more. And it's really sad that studios that were there in the
Yeah.
movie business from the beginning, right now they want to shut down their preservation archives
Wow.
because it's like, oh, that's money. That's money. Like, where are
Yeah.
we spending money?
It's
People don't
money.
even watch this movie. And it's like, it's your legacy. It's your
Yeah.
legacy as a nation. It's your legacy as a culture. Like, and you're just gonna shut it down
Hmm.
because you
Yeah.
want to produce more Hannah Montana or whatever.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
It's very sad. It's very sad because there are so many movies. Like, I'm not saying that every weekend I go and watch a Buster Keaton film, but knowing that you're not gonna be able to find those in 20 years because it's gonna get harder and harder to
Yeah.
copy. It's,
Suppose somebody wants to do a documentary. I mean, somebody might be fascinated by Buster Keaton.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's another aspect of it. Not having the originals, the masters, or the negatives. If we're talking about actual film,
Right.
is what we were talking about earlier, right? You won't be able to get a better quality. You can't remaster it, if you will, like later on to better versions of it, right? You don't, because then you'll be using a copy of a copy, and then, as you guys mentioned earlier, the quality starts degrading over time, and it won't be as good. And Alex, you already mentioned multiple times on the Star Wars. So, but yeah, if those originals aren't there, then we wouldn't be able to have the opportunity to have those other versions, the good 4K versions or the good Blu-ray copies.
One point that is also important: people are obsessed with shooting digital now.
Yeah.
Until now, there's not a single digital camera that looks better than film, because film, like even when you have 12K,
Yeah.
16K, like digital IMAX, whatever you have there,
Mhm.
it's never gonna come to what you can get on film. And
Right.
if you digitalize film and say like, okay, I'm gonna do a 6K master, then let's say that you can do 12K masters. If you don't have that physical 35 millimeter print, you're screwed because you can no longer upscale it because you already have a digital version and you're done.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with digital, and people don't see that. Like, there's so many movies, like the prequels from Star Wars, they were shot in 1080p, I think, the episode 2 and 3.
Oh,
There's
okay.
no way you can make those look 4K and look like real 4K because they have the limitation of that period of time. And they were shot with a tiny sensor, not even a 35 millimeter sensor.
Oh, wow.
So they will never look as good as a film movie. So,
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Good to know. Yeah. Thanks for sharing that. I didn't know that on that aspect. But yeah.
There's some directors that still shoot in film as well, like Chris Nolan.
Chris Nolan, and you can see it. You can tell.
Oh, you can tell. Yeah, absolutely. Because he shoots in IMAX. The film is like this freaking thick.
Yeah, it's huge.
Long, yeah, gigantic. Yeah.
Yeah.
I need more directors to put their foot down and say, I'm going to shoot this in film because it looks.
Yeah. In 50 years, it's going to look even better. Like it's going to preserve its look because you have it like that, and it's not going to look old or.
Yeah, well, it depends on if you take care of it. I mean.
Yeah.
Well, there's always been that argument with some people, particularly in the audio world, that analog actually really is superior over digital.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, Mike, you could probably attest to like just similar to what Alex was saying. The same goes for music too, right? Analog, because it's the natural form of what the sound or the image in this case for video or music is recorded on, right? It's
Well, you also have to train your ear because I could play a digital version and an analog version of the same song right here in front of you. Put the headphones on, and you're gonna go when you hear the album, the vinyl over the CD. You're gonna go, wow! To this day, I'll put on vinyl albums now. And I'll hear a cowbell where I didn't hear it all my life.
Yeah, I've experienced it before. It's kind of interesting. I was like, wow, I didn't even notice it before.
Yeah, when because analog is separate, you can separate
the channels. Is that what they're called?
frequencies, which
frequencies. Yeah.
generate the sounds of each individual instrument. Digital, it starts to get a little more blurry. It doesn't. You don't have that
Compression.
exactly. So you don't have that separation because you're more concerned about bringing everything down so it'll go through this little, camel's eye through the needle kind of thing. So yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
So that is why, even to this day, every once in a while, I'll get an old VHS tape.
Mm-hmm.
I'll hook up my my digital equipment to it, hit that analog tape to record. I record music on that analog tape, bring it back to my mixer, and then mix onto my software from an original analog.
Nice.
Oh, awesome.
That's why I'll hold on to this old stuff, because the tape on a VHS is, the wider the tape, the better the response.
Oh, okay.
Like film.
Yeah, like film.
Just like this, just for the audience, just think of this. Like, why, if digital is so great, why do they have to add film grain, like digital film grain, to make it look like film? Like, why, if it's so great, do they have to get that film look?
Filter after filter after filter after filter.
Like, why?
Who does that?
Everyone.
You have to do it
Every
on
movie is like most Hollywood movies you see that are shot with Alexas, or especially Red, because Alexa has a softer film look.
Right.
But they add
it's overdone.
They add grain. They add film grain to the movies because they want to emulate the look of film.
The effect.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
It's funny. It's so funny. Like, there are DPs like I forgot his name, Roger Deakins, the guy who did Skyfall, and that guy knows how to shoot digital and make it look like film because he's a genius. But most filmmakers don't have that set of skills, and they just add filter after filter after filter to make it look like a 35 millimeter film. So
yeah, I can't think of it off the top of my head. I could have. There's one that where they used it and I thought it worked well, and I can't remember now. But yeah, definitely an effect to kind of emulate, like Alex was saying, previous older films. But yeah,
I'm not against digital. I'm not against digital, but film will always.
There's always a place for it. There's a place for everything.
Yeah. But yeah, you did bring up a good point that, once something's recorded in digital, that's like the best it can be. Without, I mean, there's upscaling, but again, that's not its native format, right? You're just kind of modifying it to make it either a better resolution. I wouldn't say so, but it's not. It wasn't meant to be viewed that way. So I don't know. Anything else on that topic there, on movie preservation in general and negatives? And all right, similarly, video games, right? There's a bunch of organizations that are trying to preserve games. Different countries have their own organizations that are preserving games that are made in that country. For instance, Australia has their own. England, right? They have their own for all the games developed there where they're at in those countries. And then I'm sure there's others. Japan, I'm sure, has some also. There's a few here in the U.S. I think there's also museums, right? They're all about preserving games and PC gaming, console games, right? There's just a lot of organizations out there that are doing a good work. In addition to, not as many as of film though. There's a lot of film, which is good, but video games are catching up there. So. One of the main ones, Video Game History Foundation, is out there. There's one, Internet Archive. I don't know if that's related to the archive one you're talking about there, Mike, but that's...
Check that. It's called internetarchive.org.
Oh, is that the same one?
That's exactly the one.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Well, there you go. Yeah,
I forgot to put internet on the front, but that is
exactly.
Okay, the trademark is like a little pillar. It looks like a Washington kind of monument kind of thing.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
But yeah, it's Internet Archive. That's it. Awesome place. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, so there's some organizations out there that are trying to do the good work and preserve our cultural history of this entertainment media. One of the things, going back to why preserving games specifically and movies, but in this instance I'm referring to games, is that just like films, there's some games are locked on certain consoles, or certain platforms, right? And once those are gone, they're just gone forever. So we were talking about Wii U, right? And Wii games, those can only be played on those systems. So that's a little more challenging. I'm sure they can be modified, and they have. I'm trying to think right now. I'm sure there's games. The Switch, obviously, the Switch has some capability of motion controls there, so there's some games that could be ported over. I'm not sure how difficult that would be, but not a lot of the games. Some of the games are still locked on Wii U or Wii, right? And once those are gone, those are gone. And so I can't think of anything on top of my head. Any games that are just not there anymore. But the Wii and the Wii U, you can still go out and buy those, but just something to think about, right? It's a possibility, right? So that's what these organizations here are trying to do. They're trying to preserve those so we don't lose those, like we did those films in the 1940s and 30s and older, basically. So yeah, let's check those out. Do some if you're interested, you can do some research on those. But all right, gentlemen, with that, time for show and tell. I know you can just, if you don't have anything to show, you can tell if you want. So I thought we'd take a second. I know we were talking about collector's editions earlier and physical media. I know we all love physical media. So I asked the panel here if they had something they wanted to share from their collection with you all. This is the last segment here.
I've been
then we'll do the
spilling it
outro.
all the episode.
Yeah, but Mike, all right, let the people know at the Spencer's building. What is this last thing you had here that you want?
Well, it wasn't the last thing, but I can make it the last.
Oh, okay, gotcha. All right.
Hey, man, I scramble. I came prepared for your show.
Yeah,
in the last minute, but I still came prepared. So this is really fun. I got it from a neighbor who moved out of the building.
Yeah, bam.
That's from my country.
Is that a
El
movie?
Santo? El Santo. Those movies are incredible.
Wow.
Well, it was filmed at a theater. This theater is like I can walk to it.
Oh wow. Tell us about that.
It was filmed here.
Then I take it. Did you buy it for that, or do you actually like?
No,
is that a movie?
A guy who lived in my building said, "Hey, man, I got some DVDs. You want this?" I go, "Oh, this is killer, yeah."
Oh, okay. But have you seen it? Have you watched it already?
I haven't watched it yet.
Oh, okay. Alex, what do you want to tell us about this?
Well, El Santo is like the most important luchador in Mexican history.
Really?
He was a movie star, and he made a ton of movies. Like it was like El Santo versus the Mummies, El Santo versus vampires, and they are super cheesy. They are incredible. They're incredible. You guys should watch one. And I think they were so popular in the States too that some of them were dubbed to English.
Oh, okay.
So this guy was here then. Oh, that's cool.
That is cool. If you had to recommend one, which one would you recommend, Alex?
Oh man, I would say El Santo versus las momias de Guanajuato. It's El Santo versus the mummies. That one is incredible.
All right.
I'll send you. Those are incredible. Yeah.
Let me just throw one more at you because Alex brought this up earlier.
All right, hit us. What you got?
And it's the only one I have, but it's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Okay. What you got?
Tron on Laserdisc.
Wait, other one. There you go. Whoa, look at that.
Those boxes.
Nice,
That looks awesome.
Hell yeah.
That is cool.
Rob worked on this movie. He said, but Mike, he said, you don't have the one I worked on. I said, well, yeah, this is like a Japanese. How did he put it? It's just a Japanese version, but he worked on the American, because he did a lot of movies where he was the guy who did where you get the extra footage. Yeah. He was the guy filming and editing a lot of that stuff. But yeah, this is what the old laser discs look like.
Yeah, I remember those. Yeah, being a kid, I remember them being bigger, maybe because I was a kid. But
this is not. Yeah, this has never been played.
Wow, look at that! Fresh with the plastic. Still has a smell on it.
Oh, well, no, that smell's long gone. But
dang it!
And then it has, and I just picked up. This is really cool. I just picked up some album cover picture frames because this should be just big enough. And I'm going to frame these. These look really cool. Just came
Other
inside.
side.
Oh, sorry about that. I'm going to the
Oh, you're good.
wrong camera.
You're good.
But like that, you know, it looks really neat.
Yeah.
And-
That's one of the things too. I forgot to touch on this too, but with physical media, we kind of did, but just the with CDs, buying jewel cases with CDs, they have like the booklets in there. They either have like artwork or the lyrics, and video games used to have this too. They don't anymore, but they used to have the manuals that had this awesome artwork and drawings and just that extra stuff. And some movies have like some inserts, but like Alex mentioned, some of the box sets, they have either little cards or like a small poster or something like that. It's just awesome to have that additional stuff in there for the collectors.
I'm done.
Okay, all right, who wants to go next? Anyone else got anything? Or just if you don't have anything physical, anything you want to just tell us?
I have something here that I forgot.
Oh yeah,
All right, yo.
Nintendo 64.
yeah,
All right.
Star Wars Rogue Squadron.
So cool. Like, look, like talking about booklets.
Yeah, exactly. Look at that, man.
Yeah.
Classic.
Like this game, like you can't find it digitally anymore. Like,
No, it's too bad too.
look at the art. Like,
Yeah.
You know,
So
at least if they're going to give you the digital game, they should also give you PDFs that you can print out.
yeah, like
Yeah.
it even has a comic book.
that's awesome.
Oh,
man.
dude, that's cool.
Cool.
Yeah, you can't find stuff like that anymore. You know?
Do you have a 64 still, Alex?
No, I don't, but I want to buy one.
Gotcha.
How old
I
is
wanna buy
that?
one. This is from '98.
Wow.
Like, but it has everything inside.
Yeah, that's
like,
Yeah,
awesome.
man. Yeah.
and
You know, just about every toy, a game, model, everything came with
Yeah.
booklets and cards and stuff.
Yeah.
They always included like booklets and patches.
yeah,
You know.
this is very and my VHS copy of
There you
the
go. Yeah.
animated Star Wars.
It's still wrapped. Nice.
Yeah,
Awesome, dude. Oh, you still
Yeah.
got it in the yeah.
yeah. You can get Kellogg cereal for $7.
All right. Cool, dude.
Do it. Get it. Get your discount, people. Get your discount.
The Raisin
I
Bran.
had the VHS, the gold version that Mike has. I think I had that same one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but I ended up gifting it to a friend because he was also a big Star Wars fan and he didn't have the original version, so I thought he'd appreciate that. So I ended up.
Get this one. Is the unedited one, the one without
Oh,
any
is it?
alterations.
Oh.
Yeah, this is the last VHS without any alterations.
Widescreen.
Yeah,
Nice. Okay,
this
gotcha.
is the last.
pretty
one
pricey?
that came out. No, I paid $20 for it
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
on eBay.
Oh,
Yeah. Now when I moved, I tear the little plastic there, but
Yeah.
It's still good though.
Oh, good. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, that's awesome.
I always have it there. I forgot that I had this here.
Yeah, that's cool though that you have it. Yeah, man, I love that.
I want to buy a ton of 64 games.
Yeah, I still have some of mine actually from my childhood in their boxes because I was always big about preserving stuff. I think I got it from my dad. But yeah,
That's
I
so
saved a bunch
cool.
of my stuff, and so I still have some of my 64 boxes and my console, my 64. So
I have a lot, not a lot, but I have a few in Mexico. I have
Yeah,
to pick them
okay.
up. Yeah, I
Yeah.
have Majora's Mask,
But
like
they're
all
safe,
those
though.
games. Yeah.
they're safe.
Yeah, they're safe.
Okay, good.
They're
All
safe.
right.
Yeah, they're in a good spot. They're
Nice.
with someone I trust.
Okay, good. Yeah, I need to check
Oh,
those
yeah.
out whenever you get them. See some pictures
Yeah.
of those, or share them with us.
Yeah.
Blue, do you have any stories or anything? You have anything to that you are fond of, or anything that you in your collection that you really like, that you have a physical edition of something?
Yeah, I have. I don't have readily
No, no
available,
worries.
but
Yeah.
I got on when I used to buy DVDs, I
Yeah.
bought like two or three different versions of Army of Darkness.
Oh,
One was
nice.
one was like a bootleg version. I mean, it was official, but it was it's the official bootleg version or something like that. And then
Yeah.
Boomstick Edition was after that. And then, yeah, because dude, I loved that movie growing up. That was the greatest.
That's my favorite of that trilogy.
Oh,
Yes,
me too, man.
Yeah,
That's actually the one I started with too. I didn't even know about Evil Dead when that movie came out. I didn't even know about the other two. Never seen them, but I was digging the hell out of that movie.
and Army of Darkness is amazing.
Yep.
You just
And,
reminded me when. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, sorry. But I was going to say Sam Raimi doesn't like that one because Ash is the hero. He wants some ads like he was in Evil Dead, and and scared of everything and being blood thrown on him, and yeah.
So you just reminded me. One of the there's another uh, company or a group that's out there that puts out collector or special editions of movies, and they're a Shout Factory. Have you guys heard of Shout Factory? Yeah. So they put out an Army of Darkness limited edition steelbook, and I got that from them, and it came with the poster. It's pretty cool. Yeah. You just remind me.
They do music too.
Do they? Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure that's the same Shout. Yeah.
Yeah, Shout with the exclamation point at the end.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they distribute music as well.
Gotcha. Yeah, I bought that from them, and the Chucky, or the Child's Play, I should say, set, and it came with a bunch. That's the one. I think I showed you guys. That's the one that came with the NECA burnt version of Chucky.
Yes, you did.
Yeah. So that's where I got that from them. Yeah, and that was like this whole set. It came with posters also. Yes. Check out Shout Factory if you haven't already. They put out some stuff like that also. It's really, really cool. But that's not what I have. Oh, sorry, Blue. Did you have anything else that you wanted to show? So you have the two Army of Darknesses.
Actually, yeah, it's right up
Or
there.
anything.
Go ahead.
One minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go in the meantime. While you're going.
Go.
So I got a couple of things. I was like, okay, it was hard to choose, but one of the things I would have to say, I think, what I really like having in my collection. So first up here we have, I mentioned Titans of Cult earlier, and I bought this from them. This is the Goonies. This Titan of Cult 4K. Look at this. It comes with this
it looks nice.
Let me see if I'm trying not to get the light in there. Whoop. So this cover here is plastic cover. Let me remove it.
All right. Feezy, is this your first unboxing?
No, I've already unboxed it, but I just wanted to.
No. Have you ever unboxed on air?
Oh yeah. So this I have not. No, yeah. This is I have not unboxed on air yet.
Okay.
No, I don't think. But it comes with this pen. This the key of One-Eyed Willie here.
Nice.
Enamel pen. Yeah. I'm sure those of the movie recognize. And then it has this steel book here.
Oh, he's got a steel book.
Yeah.
Oh.
That the piano One-Eyed Willie. Like, wait, is that One-Eyed?
Oh, I see.
Oh no, the skeleton there in front of that organ they played.
I've seen these before.
Yeah. So that's a
That's
steel
pretty
book.
cool.
Yeah, I've seen these before.
It has the map there on the back.
Yeah.
So it's pretty. And there's a poster inside too. I haven't opened it up yet because it's all folded up in the plastic. But
Right.
It's very
so
cool.
it's just I'm a big fan of. Oh, speaking of, one of the things I was going to show.
Where's your horror? We know you're a big fan of horror. Where's your body
The
torture?
Goonies.
The Goonies never say die.
That's not too
And check out, he's got a skull and crossbones. He's a pirate.
Never say die.
Was that a coincidence? I mean, that fits the
appropriately. I was like, whoa, damn! I can't believe it. No, it was
You did it on purpose.
appropriate for the show. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was,
You fashion conscious diva. You.
I was like, well, I'm showing the movie. I figured might as well. I know I love the Goonies. It's one of my obviously childhood movies there. So yeah, a lot of things related to that I have. And that's what I thought. Yeah, it goes as being again with the.
Yeah.
That's what I thought you were referring to earlier when you brought it up in this. I thought you noticed the shirt there. It says the Goonies on it, but yeah.
Right. And I saw that comment earlier, Beam. A few years, a few years. Okay.
All right, Blue, you ready?
Oh yeah, yep. I forgot I had this. I don't have a VHS.
That's
no worries.
VCR, I should say.
Just you need just I'll put my address in the private chat. Just mail it to me. I can watch it.
That's the VHS. Whoa.
That's VHS.
I'll rent it from you. Can I rent it?
I'll rent it. Yeah.
Wow.
Blue's video.
He's got the full.
Wow. The Terminator right there.
Leave it to Blue.
Terminator 2, and the making of the Terminator films.
Wow.
That's super cool. And this book, it was like behind the scenes and stuff like that.
Photos, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, super cool.
When did you get that?
cool. I got this years ago. I thought it was the coolest freaking thing.
It is the
That is-
coolest
I didn't have it.
freaking thing.
Yeah.
It
And you
is
can
the
tell the
coolest thing.
90s.
I
Yeah,
forgot
yeah.
I had it. It's chilling up there with my Hot Toys
Oh, yeah?
boxes because
Oh,
like I said,
okay.
I don't have a VCR. But yeah,
Yeah.
I thought that was super cool.
When did
Yeah,
that come
that-
out? When did that come out? Do you know what year?
Oh, no.
Okay. Just curious.
Maybe 92.
I figured there's something
92.
about the packaging in the 90s. It looks
Yeah.
like 90s packaging.
Yeah.
Which I
But
love.
it's
I think
beautiful.
that's
Like,
what I love about. Yeah, they did some great packaging for movies and stuff.
Yeah.
You know.
the little book. the
Yeah,
box,
yeah,
like-
yeah,
that's
man.
awesome.
Yeah, no hologram thing. I
Yeah,
mean,
hologram, yeah, in the front. Right.
Yeah.
The skeleton and into Arnold. Yeah.
And you
pretty
want to
sweet.
replace that with just digital? That's crazy. That's
Yeah,
art.
and look at the Goonies box set. Like
Look at
it's
that
also
art.
an 80s
Yes.
movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
They put a lot of effort in the
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
what
what
often love into
They
it.
put a
Man.
lot of work in that,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what their Titans of Cold. That's what they're all about. They're putting. They also love film and movies also as well. So they put some thought.
It really,
Right.
their sets.
dude, I'm so
Respect.
jealous of
Respect.
the Tron and the Terminator.
Yeah.
Hey,
those-
what can I tell you?
what can I tell you? Hey.
And literally, I'm trying to find well, I've seen a few, but they're a little too much. But I'm trying to find a laser disc. So
Of just other movies.
other laser disc movies, but I'm trying to find a laser disc player.
Oh, a player. Oh, gotcha.
I just
Other-
need. I'll jump on Craigslist.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, so I mentioned this earlier. The Star Wars trilogy, the episodes 4 through 6. I got that. That has both the theatrical and the
Yeah.
special edition. And it's just, simple, kind of the 3 disc, the thin
Yeah.
cases, but
Yeah.
at least, I have those versions available,
Yeah.
readily available. So that's cool. So I really appreciate having that. And then the last thing is the game physical edition. So this is really cool. This was when this first came out. This was it was sold out quick. A lot of popularity with it. And this is the Lego Star Wars Deluxe Edition. So check this out.
Uh-huh.
So
Nice.
the Skywalker Saga. So it's all episodes in the Lego games, right? 1 through 9. Yeah, 1 through 9. Yeah. And so this deluxe edition has this slip cover. So look, check this out.
Nice.
So,
Oh, that's awesome.
That's really cool.
It's just
Oh, yeah.
Vader's mask
Oh,
here,
yeah.
right? And so
See how clever that kind of stuff. That's
That's
cool.
really
Yeah.
cool.
oh, yeah, that's
I love packaging like that.
and only this version had that. And yeah, this sold out
Yeah.
quick, and it was, I don't think they re-released it. It also came with a bonus Lego minifigure of A New
Bonus.
Hope Luke with he has like a cup of the blue milk. And that was
Nice.
exclusive,
Lord.
exclusive to that version.
You
Yeah.
got a scowl on his face and blue milk dripping from his beard.
Yeah, I still have
Yeah.
it in the little packaging it comes in.
Oh, what a horrible image that was. When I was watching that movie, I should throw something at this screen, but
Yeah.
I get kicked out.
It's cool though. It's just so there's still some other steel books I mentioned, but I think those are really the things that I was like, man, I'm cool that I have those.
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah,
I feel sorry for. Okay, what is millennials? 2000?
I am a millennial.
You're millennial?
like,
Yeah, it's from
late
80, 83 to 94, I think.
Oh, you guys are in the clear.
You're like clear, yeah.
Anything. This is no offense to the younger guys. This is something that I think we all cherish because we at least we've lived a lot of our lives being able to garner a lot of our memories.
Mhm.
When a lot of the younger guys are coming up, when they look back to their stuff, a lot of it's going to be digital. They're not going to have a whole lot of that. While I remember going to see this movie,
Mhm.
or they don't have pages to turn and see credits and things. That's so valuable in the experience of art and music
Yeah.
and film. And so I'm so very happy I was born when I was born.
Yeah.
'Cause I got
Likewise.
all of the stuff I can go back and watch and remember and feel
Mhm.
warm and stuff inside.
Yeah.
But the folks after 2000, man, it got slimmer and slimmer.
Yeah.
As far as what you're going to be able to go back to, unless, like you said, corporations change and go. So we're going to start getting this back out. It's important. We'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, it's interesting too, though, because they're not going to really.
There's going to be a hole.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, like with the new generation, they're not gonna really know what they had because they never had it, right? It's just
for them, it's just going to be.
Something you make a good point.
Yeah, that's just their usage. Yeah. They're not gonna really appreciate
it. Can't miss what you didn't have. That's true.
Exactly. Yeah.
They're just gonna have us telling them how cool it was to have.
Yeah.
Well, that's the aspect of getting older, because they're gonna do it with their kids too.
Yeah. Yep. Whatever that future technology may be. Yeah. To your point, Mike, I was telling my kids, I think it was recently, about how we used to be able to go in the store and rent movies at like a Blockbuster, Hollywood, because I used to work at a Hollywood Video here in California, and then I was actually working at one until it closed. So it was like during that time where they were all starting to shut down, and like Redbox was Redbox, where you can go to the DVDs and rent them yourself. The kiosk, those were getting bigger, and so they were Hollywood Video wasn't doing as well, and so it was one of the video chain rental stores here in California. I don't know how far they reached, but they closed down, and obviously Blockbuster ended up following suit. So I was just telling my kids, we just go in there, looked at a movie, and to pick which one we wanted. They had a bunch, and they had games too. And now, they won't know what that's like.
But like you said, they won't miss it because they didn't never experience it.
Yeah.
Although there are things that have happened in the past that I would have liked to experience, but you can't anymore, but
no, for sure. Yeah, that's definitely true. They can go back and pique their interest if anything.
But kids have a lot of fake nostalgia right now. Like they are really like trying to get into the 90s and trying to live stuff like that. Like just look at them, how they are obsessed with Jordans, and they don't even know who Michael Jordan was.
Yeah.
Well, and it might be the only generation that I can think of where they're not gonna. Well, like I said earlier about not being able to, they're actually going to, their nostalgia is going to be our nostalgia.
Yeah.
Like instead of having their own stuff that have come up between, 2010 and now, their nostalgia is going to be a remake of Ghostbusters, a remake of everything we loved, as opposed to they're going to have their own Indiana Jones and their own. They're not going to have it because it's not happening now. As long as Hollywood operates the way it's going to operate, especially young boys, they're going to have indies, and come on, you got to have your Terminator, you got to have your Arnie.
And there's kids out there that get shirts of like band album art and don't even know who the band is.
Oh yeah, it looks cool.
That is a testimony to how great the era was.
Yeah. Preservation, folks. Let's hope. Let's do our best to keep that. Yes.
Start them off with
this,
man.
Thank you all for sharing. That was all cool. You guys all had interesting things to share that I didn't know you had. So that was really.
I forgot I had this here.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah.
Dude, I already looked it up on eBay.
Yeah.
I'm glad you slowed me down, because a part of my channel, I wanted to do some deep diving into some of my media.
Yeah.
And talk about, that was going to be, one of the things I did on my channel. So,
that's awesome. Yeah.
I don't want to blow my load too soon,
Pause. Yeah.
Pause.
Yeah. No,
that's so nice.
Reignited the love for that stuff. So that's cool that we were able to share all that with all of everyone watching, in addition to us. So that's really cool. Again, this is one of the reasons why I wanted to have streams like this, to discuss the stuff that we love with like-minded people, and to share with all who are watching us here now or in the replay. But gentlemen, that was all I had. We'll go around the clock, and just if you anything you want to plug, Michael, we're going to start with you.
Action Figure Academy on YouTube. Action Figure Academy on YouTube. Subscribe. I'm doing a 500 subscriber giveaway. I'm at 58 subscribers right now. For every 100 subscribers, I will be giving a clue to what is inside the box. So, yeah, give me a hand and come on over to Action Figure Academy on YouTube. Subscribe, hit the notification, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you next week on Beam Stream and on the 20. Let me throw this out real quick for you. Make sure I get the date right.
And again, I'll have all the links to their media in my description.
And this Saturday, the 24th, 12 noon Eastern Standard Time, I will be doing a room tour. Won't be long. Most of my figures, I don't have a big space, so a lot of my figures are put away anyway. So it'll be short, but I'll show a few things I got floating around here. So this Saturday, the 24th, but I will post something on Instagram as well as try and get out a YouTube short before then. Okay. Yeah, and Feezy, once again, thank you so much for inviting me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for joining, man. Glad to have you. It was good. Yeah, it was cool hearing all the passion that you had for your music and everything else, and again talking that with you, discussing. So thanks for sharing. Yeah, your passion with us. Blue, going down around the clock. Anything you want to plug?
We're live every Monday on my brother's channel. It's Beam. So
it's Beam. Yep. Beam Stream.
Beam Stream.
Yeah. At some point for the end of the quarter, I'm gonna have a room tour. I got to build these shelves up. That'll probably be posted on also his channel as well. Nice. And also, this stuff is valuable, not in dollars.
That's right.
Appreciation. So
you said 90?
What's that?
You said how much was it? $90? Is that what you said?
Oh no, I said it's not. It's valuable, but not in dollars.
Right.
But not in dollars. Oh, I see. I thought you said 90 at first. I was like,
oh yeah, I'm selling it on. No, I'm not.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. Yeah, valuable.
No, but
sentimental.
Good stuff here.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Oh, yeah. Like, can't beat it. Can't beat it.
Like that gets you excited just to see it. Like makes me want to read everything, and it's you don't get that anymore.
When you had that Blue, you're like, oh yeah, I forgot I had this. Yeah.
Yeah. And did you see how he was looking at it? Like it's an excitement that you don't get with other stuff. It's like I've never seen him with a hot toy like that.
Yeah, all cradling it.
Like he was like, "Oh my box, look, it's so cool."
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's like the connection with your childhood. That is like,
he's a good fiction father. He's a fiction father.
A fiction father, yeah. All his children. Alex, anything you want to plug?
I just go to my Instagram. That's Montano. Go to my TikTok there. I post the same stuff. Yeah, just go there to learn Spanish.
Yeah. Sometimes I watch your Instagram drops. I have no idea what he said, but I just sit there and watch it and listen to him.
Thank you, Mike. Yeah. That's good.
Just out there what's going on.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for watching it. Without understanding it.
Yeah. We get the gist, you can tell.
I'm going to start adding English and Spanish subtitles. So you guys can...
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people will appreciate that. That's awesome.
It might be really, like the text might be a little crowded, but we'll find a way.
Yeah, you'll find a way. But yeah, Alex and Blue, thanks again for joining me. And same thing, similarly, thanks for sharing your passion about this stuff with me and with others here and discussing. That was a really good, I thought it was a really good stream to talk about some of that stuff. Good points. I do, for me, as far as Feezy's media channel, I already have another episode of the Film Game scheduled for this Saturday. That's going to be on the Best MCU Trilogy. So check that out. Saturday, I think I have it at 7:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, PST. So, yeah. So
look at you, man. Look at you. Just grinding them out now, huh?
Yeah, there's just sometimes I'm not really active, but when those ideas come and there's things I want to talk about, I'm kind of passionate about, or I feel like, getting out there, I get on it. So,
hey, that's when you want to do it, when you're full of it.
Exactly. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't put pause. I don't put the content out there that often, but when I do, it's, because I really want to, and I want to discuss that stuff. So, yeah, just catch me on again on the socials. Links are in the description, and yeah, check out my other content if you haven't already. But Same for all these guys. Show them some love if you can. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you for staying this long and for catching on the replay. And with that, we'll catch you on the next one. Have a good night, all.